Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brewbuilt Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brewbuilt line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brewbuilt X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brewbuilt Conicals. You can trust Brewbuilt with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brewbuilt at morebeer.com.
Feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle. Especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can?
No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Welcome, everybody. It's the Mighty Session. My name is the Mighty JP, and I'm mighty glad to hear from you. I don't know. I'm also mighty irritated, and let me explain why. Pale ales are not pale ales anymore. They're IPAs with biscuit malt, and I'm upset about it, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Right, Teresa?
I concur.
Thank you.
I really want pale ales to taste like delicious pale ales.
They don't. It's they're overly bitter, or they have like one I'm drinking currently, and I'm not going to tell you which. It's like biscuit malt and then IPA. It's like IPA. It's a session IPA with biscuit malt in it. It's not a pale ale. It's not a pale ale. The other one I had, pale ale, not a pale ale. It was IPA in a pale ale body. It was really weird, and I didn't like it at all.
Well, I like IPAs, so I actually don't mind it if it's hop aroma and flavor. But this one's just kind of like
bitterness is what I'm
earthy bitterness.
Yeah, when I say that, I'm referring to the amount of bitterness that is in these the new pale ales. I don't like that.
Yeah,
and so it's hard for me to find. Again, I'll say it till I die, probably literally. I'm in a prison I've constructed by myself, right? I understand I put myself in this position, but either I can't find a pale ale that's under 6% or not bitter, and so when you find, you go the alcohol, like, oh, okay, finally a pale ale that's 5.5 or whatever, that's cool, but then it's 100 million IBUs, and you're like, this is not good. It's not drinkable.
Well, I'm not sure if the pale ale category is quite that low. I think you're really asking a bit. Like, you have to.
I think it's like 4.8. I think the
4.8 is the low end on pale ale.
I think the top end is, I want to say 5.8.
No, really?
I think so, man. Yeah, maybe. I could be lying to you, but I'm going to look up my BGCP app. But why don't you finish your thought? I apologize.
Well, because I'm with you, and I feel like there are some styles that I go around like proselytizing for. You know, like this should be like this. Like Pilsner should be clear. Pale ale should be pale ale.
Yeah.
I try to explain to people what a dunkel is all the time. Stuff like that.
4.5 to 6.2.
Okay, so I'm see, mine that I always do is 6.1, so it makes me think it trends higher, but mine is just on the high end.
Yeah, and so like I love your beer. I would never drink that. 6.2 or 6.1 IBU or 6.1 alcohol pale ale, I wouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
That being said, Saturday night I was in Sacramento drinking the hell out of, what is it, Thirsty Pretzels?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You found Thirsty Pretzels in the wild?
I did at Flat Stick Pub.
Oh, Flat Stick.
Yeah, in downtown Sacramento, which is like this weird sort of indoor mini golf area, which had its own issues. It was like half the course was home built, and so the angles were real fucked up, and you couldn't. It was hard.
Oh, like it just totally.
It was hard to golf.
It didn't actually work.
Yeah, and then
you
they
couldn't
had
get a hole in one.
Yeah, no, actually, I mean, I did. I don't want to brag about it, but and then they had a bunch of weird like golf puns, and you know how I love puns.
Oh.
I like big putts, and I cannot lie. And they had a quote, right? It was on the wall.
Yeah.
And then next to it, they had a picture of Ice-T, who did not say that. Very like it reminded me of if you were 56, let's say, not you specifically, but the people, right?
Yeah, I'm almost there.
And you had a bunch of money and you wanted to open a pub that you, or some sort of thing, right? That you wanted to attract the millennial. This is the kind of stuff that but you have no idea what the reference is.
Yeah,
it's just because
really
it wasn't the same. It just he didn't. Ice-T didn't say that. It actually pissed me off.
I haven't been there yet, but I really want to go.
Okay,
and
it was fun. I will say they have this thing called duffel board. I don't know why it's duffel board, but it's like shuffleboard but with golf. It was. I had fun. The beer prices were pretty reasonable. They had 25 taps.
Sweet.
The food was pretty decent, and
I hear one of our kegs is built into some kind of hazard in the Gulf.
There are a few of those. I didn't notice specifically, but and it's all kinds of. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was just really weird, and so I found your beer, and I was like, well, this is literally what I'm sticking with. So I love it very much.
Sweet. Well, good to hear, man.
I don't know. Bez making weird phrases at me. This show is brought to you by morebeer.com. Everybody, you can go to morebeer.com. They have absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home. And when I say absolutely everything, I mean it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. No, they also get, they do coffee roasting, which I buy all my coffee beans from them because I don't really do a whole lot of home brewing anymore, but that's neither here nor there. They have all kinds of kettles, all kinds of grains, hops, yeast. They have expert home brewers there ready to help you out. So check them out. They help keep this show alive, and they help keep you fermenting. And those are two great things to enjoy. Speaking of something that's great to enjoy, I love being alive. Don't you?
Yeah, waking up in the morning.
It's so good, right?
It doesn't always feel as good, but then you think about it and you're like, what if I wasn't waking up this morning?
That's right.
Be way suckier.
I would feel terrible if I didn't wake up this morning or if something bad happened. Well, anyway, today's special guest knows nothing about that. Kim Shimke, everybody.
I'm alive.
Hi.
Hi.
The triumphant return to the Brewing Network studio.
Yep, I guess I lived for this.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Lucky you. So I sort of debated like how to talk to you about all that kind of shit that happened with you. And for those of you who don't know, Kim died and then now she's back or I don't know. I didn't really pay attention. But because I don't want to like rehash anything. And so we talked a little bit on the phone and you're like, well, anybody who follows me already kind of knows the story. And I'm like, no one really follows you that closely.
No, just those 30,000 people.
Yeah, but 40% are bots, so it's fine. But I feel like I want to tell our listeners and have them hear it from you, kind of what happened really briefly. You don't need to get anything super emotional, but how sad was your family that you made it? What happened to you?
Yeah. In short, I had a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lung. I actually had two.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
They're called bilateral. And one on my left side, my left lung, was so large that it was straining my heart, and my right ventricle wasn't working, so I had restricted blood flow. There was a few symptoms, but nothing that was too severe that I thought much of it. I actually attributed it to asthma, and that all happened like a week before Friday the 29th.
What was
December.
it? What were the
symptoms?
asthmatic symptoms? Yeah.
So shortness of breath.
Okay.
But again, that's something I experienced as an asthmatic my whole life. So that never felt weird. And also I was doing like hour-long spin classes the week that I ended up going into the hospital. So nothing, my physical activity felt harder. Like when I walked up a hill or when I did spin class, like it was definitely noticeably harder. But the fact that I was still doing everything and pretty much felt fine, nothing seemed out of place or too concerning.
This is why I have anxiety. It's stories like this.
The small things, I know.
Yeah, because those are the things you don't know. And you try to plan for, and I try to pay attention to my body, and if I'm a lot of attention, if you know what I'm trying to say, ladies. But like if I were you, I would have panicked, and then I would have not panicked, and then I would have gone through this whole thing, because how do you know, right? If maybe it was just, I'm just maybe having a hard time right now, but if I'm able to do an hour-long spin class, there can't be anything wrong.
Well, so for most people that don't have asthma, being short of breath for a week, that should be weird to you. That should be your sign that something is not right.
Okay.
Like if it's hard to breathe, that should be your sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nothing that was too out of the ordinary. And then I went to visit my parents in Tucson, Arizona, and I started getting chest tightness. Now, I've never experienced chest tightness before with my asthma. However, my dad also has had asthma his whole life, and he has bad chest pressure when he gets asthmatic.
From asthma, okay.
And so we were looking up symptoms because we're like, oh, well, that's kind of weird for me, though. And like when you look up at the asthma organization website, it specifically says things that can offset that are cold, dry climates. And at the time in Tucson, it was in the 40s. And it's the freaking desert, so of course it's really dry. So again, like that didn't seem that concerning, even though that was a new symptom for me.
Good gravy.
But let this be a lesson to everyone. If you've never had chest pain before, the second you start to feel it, you go to the ER. Like you don't wait, you don't go to urgent care, just go to the ER. If it's nothing and you pay the money to know it's nothing, then good.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, right.
But so that was a thing, and then my parents took me to freaking Tombstone Brewing, of all places.
Right. Well, they anticipated what was going to happen.
Almost. It was this weird foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Oh, and like the last photo that my mom had of me, which was like really upsetting for her, is me in front of Tombstone. She's like, I would have had to delete the last photo of you alive.
Oh, man.
But we were at Tombstone, and I actually really liked their beer, and I was excited to go, and I had... I could only have a half pint, and even then I had like a few sips, and I was like, man, I cannot do this drink. I'm feeling nauseous. My chest hurts like hell. I was coughing a lot.
So chest pain's nausea.
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
Well, I was taking asthma medication, but I think the reason I got sick is because I was taking medication for something that was not the issue.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably more that.
Prep.
But so then...
Just kidding.
We left, and I fell asleep in the car. We got home, and I was still feeling like super nauseous. So right when we got home, I went to go to try and throw up, and I couldn't throw up. Okay. So then I was like, well, the other thing you got to do, you got to try and poop out what you're feeling, right?
Yes,
I mean, of course, that's what you do.
Uh-huh. Well, look, something has to come out. Either from the front or from the back.
If you're feeling sick,
yeah.
Let me try and make myself better.
Mm-hmm.
So I passed out on the toilet. Like the second I tried to go to the bathroom, I woke up on the floor and my face hurt like hell. And I was like, why am I on the floor? Why does my face hurt? And I ended up falling over to the side, hitting my face up against the tub. So my cheekbone was smashed up against the tub. It hurt, like that's why it hurt. And I came to on the floor, and I went out and I told my parents, I'm like, oh my God, I just passed out in the bathroom. And by their judge of like when we got home, how long I was in there, I think I was out for about 20 or 30 seconds. Okay. So the reason for that, the ER doc told me, is it's actually not that uncommon. And it's because you have a major artery in your groin. And whenever you do something that strains that,
tell me about
whether it's a cough or a sneeze or trying to go have a bowel movement, then you restrict blood flow to your brain. And so that's why I passed out.
Okay, so so I can dumb it down for those of us who aren't.
Did it need any more dumbing than that? I feel like that's pretty straightforward.
I think it was very well explained.
You had to go cock-a-doodle, and you pushed.
Yes.
And you were pushing so hard.
I wasn't pushing that hard. Don't make it like some sort of like weird event in itself.
Kim, you pushed so hard you passed out and smashed your cheek on the tub. That's got to be... I've never... And not look.
They said a sneeze or a cough could do the same thing.
Sure, but they also, said...
Which actually it's better that it wasn't, because my parents have all tile floor, and if I were to cough and then fall down standing, I would have hit my head on the...
I have coughed a million times in my life, probably half
You
of
didn't
that
have a
on the
pulmonary
toilet.
embolism.
No, but I feel like I've also pushed really hard on the toilet before and never passed out or even come close to it. So I feel like you must have really been pushing a boulder. Or something like that. You were like the Sisyphus, but opposite. You were anyway. So you were trying to take a big shit and you pushed too hard and you passed out.
I passed out.
Okay.
And
which is my favorite part of this whole story.
The best. Well, I don't know. The part is like when I told my mom was really concerned. My dad's like, let's call urgent care. Let's see what they say. My mom's like, this ain't normal. Let's go to the ER. And my dad's like, let me call urgent care and see. And they were like,
we're going to save Kim a few bucks here.
I feel like I would have done the same thing, though, too. Because it's like, I don't know, man.
Well, they said on the phone, urgent care, do not come here. If someone passes out, you don't come here. You go to the ER.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
And then the triage nurse, they immediately knew something was wrong. They're not like a 33-year-old passes out, has chest pain, and that's asthma. So they knew something was wrong. So they triaged me immediately. I say triage, meaning that there was absolutely no one else in the ER, so I actually got in right away because of that. But yeah, they did all the tests on me. They did like a chest X-ray, they did a CT scan, they took blood work, all the things, and they that was one of the hardest days in my life, is having because I know what a pulmonary embolism, I know how serious they are and how life-threatening they can be. And so when the ER doc came in and told me what my diagnosis was and that I would have to have an emergency procedure or my odds weren't good, I was like, oh shit, this is like, not only is this bad, but this is like life-threatening bad. So that Saturday.
Well, don't cry, whatever you want. Whatever you do, don't cry right now, please.
I won't.
It would make for
I feel dead on the inside.
It would make for bad radio.
You know, I actually truly am dead on the inside because I have what's called an infarcted lung, which from infarcted
lung. All right.
And because there was no blood flow and oxygen, there's a little piece of my lung still inside me that's dead, and it'll be there forever. So when I say I'm dead on the inside, it's literal. Yeah.
Oh my
The thing is, if it's big enough, then they'll do something about it. But there's like, it's so small that it really shouldn't affect anything. So it's just going to chill there forever.
Oh.
Okay, it's not going to rot or decompose or.
I mean,
bloat.
it already is. It's,
okay.
It's just chilling there.
Your body's just going to absorb it.
Well, that's what it does with the clots. It just hangs out.
All right.
It's just this dead piece that hangs out.
That's kind of cool. You're goth now.
I know. I'm so metal, you guys.
Yeah, you got to start like cutting yourself and wearing leather.
No,
and shit
I'm on
like
blood
that.
thinners. If I cut myself, I'll bleed out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
And then Saturday, so admitted to ER with the diagnosis on Friday night.
Okay.
Saturday is when I had my emergency procedure, which everything went well. Everything went normal. I was chit-chatting with my family afterwards.
And so is the emergency procedure just to get the rest of the duty out? Or what's the...
You're so stuck on this poop thing, huh?
Yeah, well,
so
I might pass out. I'm so stuck on it.
The emergency procedure is so you already have IVs of heavy blood thinners.
Yeah.
And then the procedure is they insert a wire into your groin, and that goes up into your lungs.
That's kinky as hell, dude. I love it.
And then it uses ultrasound technology to shake, so that way it like breaks up working with the blood thinners in your system, breaking up the clots faster. Because mine were so big,
Really? Damn.
They were so big they had to be broken up.
They were so big they were pushing on your heart.
They're pushing on my heart. Yeah, that's
crazy.
They themselves were dangerous, and then this other side of things happening where it was like now it was straining my heart so badly. And his title was radiologist interventionist.
Mm-hmm.
This procedure has been used in the last 5-6 years in the medical field, and he himself has been doing it since then. Never had the procedure fail, never. But because I'm special, it failed on me.
Oh, no.
And so early Saturday morning, I stopped breathing. My heart stopped. I went into cardiac arrest. That all was about 45 seconds. And I was revived via CPR by an RN. Wow. And I only have one very brief memory of the worst because the rest of it I was sedated on life support. But there's just this 30-second window that I'll never get out of my brain, which kind of sucks. But after that, I was, put on life support. I mean, things were like seriously, like so critical in the first 12 hours. They said my life was a minute-to-minute basis. They were telling my parents, if your mind goes there, that's okay, but we can't stay there. We have to have hope, and you have to hope she's strong enough to pull through this. And like,
yeah, you have to.
But my parents almost lost a kid, and that's my mom's worst nightmare. So
for sure. I mean, you were almost lucky because you didn't have to sit through it.
Right.
Wait,
so they saw me in this state being told by, you know, RNs and doctors, several doctors, like, we have to hope she's strong enough to pull through this. And I'm like, I'm out of it. And so by the time I came through and have memories, like, the worst of the worst was still over. I was in the ICU for 10.5 days. So I was on life support for 3.5. But like, it takes like a good day to 2 days for the drugs to wear off. Mm-hmm. So like, even though I was up and conscious, I have zero memory of those, like that particular portion. Yeah.
That's weird about when I was in the hospital that first, actually pretty much the whole time in the hospital. I don't remember. I remember some flashes of talking to people, but the drugs you're on is just.
Yeah, they say it works like amnesia in your brain. And afterward, one of the RNs told me, he's like, you know, some patients, like months later, they start to have those memories come back and other people never do. I'm like, I don't want those memories. Like, I don't need them. Like, the time that I was conscious was already bad enough. So I don't need more of that.
Can I ask you what that memory is, that 30 seconds? Or you don't want to talk about it?
No, I can say it. Okay. I woke up, so this would have been after I was revived from CPR, and I woke up gasping for air. And I saw up, although my vision started to like get really blurry and kind of like move in, so the image got smaller and smaller, and I could see like this team of people coming in, and the nurse Amy, who saved my life at Oro Valley Hospital, oh my God, like a true hero, she's on my side and she says, "Honey, you stopped breathing." And I'm just like staring up, seeing these people come in, knowing I'm losing my vision. And I'm like hot and sweaty. And I said, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't see. I can't see." Wow. And then I was out of it forever.
Wow.
But yeah, because I mean, and like if I ever, like today over here, it was a packed BART train and I'm wearing my sweater and I started to get warm. And it was just like the feeling of sweating a little bit, like put me mental back in that image. I'm like, oh man, this is something I'm going to have to work with for a bit.
Well, yeah, you got PTSD, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And every time I'm like, so afterwards, like even when everything was okay, I was discharged. And like a week before I came home, which would have been, I was out of the hospital for like 4 weeks at that time.
Yeah.
So everything was like okay. I had follow-up appointments and everything. I started getting chest pressure, not as much, like it wasn't as painful as when everything happened. So I was like, I don't know if it's the clot still or what, but it was like this really bad chest pressure. And I noticed it like mostly when I was like seated in the car or like getting ready in the morning or something, when I wasn't like engaged with talking with my parents or doing something.
Yeah.
And so I told my mom about it. She's like, "How long is this going on?" I'm like, "For a few days." And she's like, "Okay, well, that's not good. Should we go to the ER?" And I was like, "Well, let me call my pulmonologist first, because he's the one that worked on me the entire time. I was his case." He said, "Come in." They saw me. They made room for me to come in like right away. And he did all these tests on me. He did like an oxygen test, a spirometer breathalyzer thing, all this stuff. And he's like, "Look, in my professional opinion, your vitals are good. You sound good. I actually think these clots are going away. Do you ever get anxious?" And I like laughed out loud because, well, who the freak doesn't? And then like, also, yes, I have generalized anxiety disorder. And on top of that, why wouldn't it be worse after something like this?
For sure.
And he's like, "Well, look, I think this is anxiety induced." And he's like, "If for your own personal benefit, if it would ease your mind, I actually suggest like you go to the ER and get another CT scan. Like, we don't want you to have too many CT scans because that's not good for you, radiation." But he's like, "I really think that like maybe that would give you some peace of mind." But the second he told me, he thought I was okay and my vitals were good, and he, in his opinion, thought that like I'm actually really doing like quite well. The pressure completely went away.
Yeah.
But it's like your brain can totally cause physical pain. It's so trippy and it's so weird. And the pain was very real.
Your brain fucking sucks, dude. It happens to me, not you person, but like all the, it happens constantly. And it as an adult, you sort of rationalize it out and you're like, well, there's got to be something, right? Because your brain can't make you have a heart attack or your arm hurts or whatever. But every time you go to a doctor, they go, well, no, this anxiety, your brain is literally thinking that you're manifesting these issues. And it's like, but I'm not even thinking about the issue, but you still...
It's in the back of your mind.
It's fucking crazy. And then how do you ever determine if something is real? How could you ever trust your body from that point forward?
And this is a forever struggle.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most times, like, we all experience, like, weird bodies, aches and pains and things like that. But, like, everyone says, like, give it a week to 2 weeks and then go to the doctor.
Yeah.
For my personal thing, like the clots, I didn't have that time. It was seriously a matter of days to a week. Like, I would have been dead. I would have been dead. So now I'm like, well, do I wait for a week and a half, or do I always go to the ER and pay the $150? Like, I don't know. And that's a shitty struggle I'm forever going to have to deal with.
So I guess if you hadn't pushed as hard as you could,
But get back to the poop.
on the poop, you would have had, it would have been worse. Had you not tried to
so
push
good thing
out a boulder?
I tried to push out a boulder.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm actually. I keep saying I'm the unluckiest lucky person alive because every RN and doctor said you're a miracle. Like, people that are more athletic than you and younger than you have died from this, and people do die from this. And the fact that it not only was dangerous in itself, but the fact that I experienced cardiac arrest. And that I'm healing so well and so fast. I mean, all of it. They're just like, you're a miracle. So there's this toggle of like, God, this awful thing happened, and I have to deal with a lot of the ramification side effects after the fact. But also just be so goddamn grateful that I'm one of the very few that made it out and have healed pretty well.
Well, and that you were with your parents
when
it
with my
happens.
Parents.
You had this great support system that you wouldn't even necessarily had if you were home.
It's hard to say, but it's so true, and everyone has said it's true. Is if this happened in Oakland, I'd be dead. I mean, there's no question about it. Is that I would have been by myself. And the thing is, I'm almost always alone on Christmas. Like, I just don't travel on Christmas because I don't want to deal with the crowds, and I only get the one day off from work, so it's not worth it to me.
Well, I think spinsters usually are, and I think that's just the lifestyle.
Yeah, I want to be at home
right?
with my 12 cats.
Yeah.
That's where I'm comfortable with my 12
You
cats
are the
and no
worst.
showers.
I'm just look. At this point, we should stop lying to her.
I'm going for the throat.
But yay me, I lived.
You did. That's
I did.
true. So, but and I think in the chat room, people are asking, and we don't have a chat room anymore.
There's no chat.
Did you poop?
I told you, yes.
Okay, good.
I pooped pebbles.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I got.
That's what I really care about, is that you did the thing. Well, Kim, I'm glad that you're alive.
Oh, thank you.
It was very hard for us over here. It was partly harder than you had it, because we're looking at text messaging. Well, I don't know what to do right now, and then we had to wait an hour or 2 or 3 to hear anything, and it was very hard for us.
Yeah, clearly
personally.
we're the ones that struggled.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were all trying to figure out if we need to get on a plane and show up at the hospital, and then we're like, well, wait, actually that probably doesn't help her. We all show up at the hospital.
I had 6 people oh my God, we're gonna come visit her. No one ever came to visit. Not when I was on my deathbed. Not when I healed. No visits.
Really?
There were no visits.
I didn't think that you were still out of town, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, everyone has a story. Everyone has an excuse.
I knew where you were.
No, I didn't.
But what I heard is that you were in ICU, and I know that you can't have visitors unless you're family. So I'm like, I'm not going to go.
Well, you can only have 2 people at a time, and my parents weren't leaving me the entire time I was there.
Yeah. So I knew, and to be honest with you, I don't think that you want anybody from the Brewing Network, maybe just me, and maybe Justin, to visit you.
If you were there,
don't
I
want
would
to
have had the full heart attack and never have been revived.
That's right.
True.
Yeah.
You don't want to wake up from a coma and look at JP.
And then go right back into it.
Yeah, Nurse Amy was like, oh, you stopped breathing, honey. And then I would push her out of the way and she'd be like, Kim, are you okay? I need you to post something. And then you would have just let the devil take you.
Yeah, that sounds like that's exactly how that would
you your first or second day doing better, he's like, Kim didn't post about the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to text her, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
I wanted to know.
He did.
Oh, I know he did. And I just want to personally apologize.
But I needed to know if she was doing her job or not. And that's really what we want here until we get universal health care. Doesn't matter. All
You
right?
are insane.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
You're doing all right. You're healing. You're on the road to recovery. You were out drinking in your recovery in Tucson.
I am
You were
allowed
out
to
drinking.
drink. Yes, I'm allowed to drink on my blood thinners.
But 2 weeks after you got out of the hospital, or a week or something
well, I'm
like
not
that?
allowed to do physical activity. What else am I supposed to do? I can drink and I can't do anything else. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I did do.
Well, good. It was good to see.
Good to see?
Yeah, it was good to see you back on the horse.
Oh, good to see me?
No. You out doing things.
Oh. which
Let's not
is also
confuse
part
the
of me.
two. Well, that's true. And you have a scar, I imagine? Do
I
they
have
open you
IV
up?
scars. I have
Okay.
I have one on my neck, 2 on my arms and hands, and then my groin.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They didn't actually like cut into your chest.
No, so the procedure went into my groin.
Right.
So
All right,
yeah.
well, then I won't ask this because
One
I
of
was
my
going to
friends
ask
was
to
like,
see
she
your
had a
scar.
surgery. I'm like, well, no, I had an emergency procedure. It's not the same thing as surgery. Surgery means they actually make an incision.
Yeah.
But I was on such a high dose of blood thinner that they really don't want to do any sort of surgery if they don't have to.
Of course,
Right,
that
okay.
makes so much
They
sense.
wouldn't even let me floss when I'm in, because when you're on I'm on now blood thinners, but
First of
when
all,
you're
who
on the
flosses?
IV ones, I do every day.
I don't.
And so they were like, well, you're on a high dose here in the hospital, so if you have bleeding gums, we just don't let you floss here because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is sort of crazy to me, honestly.
Such a crazy
Like
experience.
the doctor would tell me that, and I go, okay, cool. Oh, I'm devastated. Like I don't remember the last time I flossed.
Well, so when I got to the ER on a Friday night, I vomited in the ER, and so
yeah.
I never got to brush my teeth after that, and then
Whoa.
I didn't get to wash them in at all in the ER, and then none on Saturday because I had my procedure, and then I was like drugged for the procedure, so mostly out of it. And then everything happened Sunday morning. So the first thing I wanted to do when I like had my dexterity back after the drugs were off is like, can I please brush my fucking teeth because they have vomit on them. And nothing is
you
clean
have
here.
like ventilator mouth happening, like
And like saline, like you can actually smell and taste saline. Like that was, I had 11 pounds of fluid in my body.
what a drag.
I was so plump. I mean, it was like my fingers like swelled up so much that like, they had to remove anything that's on you. My ring was already removed,
You're
but
the Stay Puff beer influencer.
Stay Puff.
Stay Puff from Ghostbusters.
Not your best.
Well,
No, it was good. It was funny.
it takes like it gradually comes off of you, but it takes a while. And so the day that I was discharged from the hospital, my socks wouldn't fit. Like because you put on the
That's
clothes
awesome.
and you're like,
super
they wouldn't
bloated.
fit.
Oh, that's so crazy.
It's funny.
Yeah,
Kim.
you got to look at the comical pieces of it all.
Not
I
as funny
know.
as my
Just
joke,
taking
but
a picture
it's
of your
it's
like
fine.
like big bean toes.
I almost did, and then I'm like, I don't need any sort of visual memory of what
Yeah,
I took one of like
can
my arm
imagine.
because like they took blood every day, so like this arm was like bruised and veins are all. It was so gnarly, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's cool. And then I see it in my phone now. I'm like, why do I?
Why
have
do you
this?
want that? Yeah, for sure. No. And if you got pulled over, a cop would instantly start asking a bunch of questions.
Well, I asked my mom. I was like, do these IV scars make it look like I've done heroin? I don't want people to think I've done heroin.
And she's like, "Yeah, but your waistline doesn't, sweetheart." So let's try. Well, Kim, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. You're sort of getting back on the old track again, and I like that.
Well, thanks.
You're
this
welcome.
was a priority to come back.
Yeah, I
Let
bet.
you all know.
You were just
I can
bored.
annoy you again.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. Let's move on to the Twitter game. Enough about Kim. I mean, wow. The Twitter game is brought to you by the Wine and Hop Shop. Check it out. Go to the Wine and Hop Shop and get everything you need to make wine and beer. Whatever you guys want. You may want to make wine? Sure. Want to make beer? Sure. A lot of times you can use the same equipment, so you don't have to double up and buy a bunch of weird, funky stuff. So check them out. Wine and Hop Shop, they're good people over there. And they love the Twitter game. And let me tell you, today's Twitter game is amazing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's how big was the duty that Kim
God.
tried to push out of her butt. No, actually, what is it? It's a timely. It's whoever said
The only
amazing.
he would have done that if he didn't think he'd just get too many repeat responses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
that's true.
Yeah, as
Need
big
a
as JP. We are brewing some kind of lager deal up at Crooked Lane Brew this weekend. Name it for us.
Oh,
This
shit.
is inspired.
Yeah.
We need this.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Interesting.
Yes, smart. Very smart.
Yeah.
So these better be good people.
Yep.
Like, put some actual thought into it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a rule.
Uh-huh.
Go on Untapped. Check your name on Untapped.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
want any. I don't want any basic names. You gotta
That's
up your
right.
game.
Nothing basic here, baby. That's what we're on about. So there you go. That's the Twitter game. Hit us up. What is it? At Brewing Network, I guess. If you don't know, Don't play. I don't know what to tell you. Let's do some feedback. Feedback today brought to you by Beer Law Center. John at the beerlawcenter.com helps you protect whatever you want. Your trademark. He wants to help you file any sort of federal papers you need to file or whatever. If he's not up on the law in the specific state that you want to open a winery or a brewery or any sort of liquor deal, whatever you got going on over there. There's federal stuff to worry about, too, and John can help you with that. John can protect your trademark as well, so he can pretty much do everything. I wonder if he can survive a pulmonary embolism, though, and survive a poop fest.
Become an angel.
Yeah, become an angel. We should rename Spring Brews Fest to Poop Fest in honor of Kim.
How about we don't?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. You
How about we let that joke die?
Flyers are already printed.
Let's just let it go.
Sorry, too late.
Damn it. Get a Sharpie. Anytime you're in the Bay Area, get a Sharpie, cross out brews, and put poops. Spring Poops Fest in honor of Kim Shimke.
We're letting that joke die now.
I don't know. Why does it stink? We only have one piece of feedback, and it's not very good. Well, it's not that it's not good. We have one piece of feedback, and I'm disappointed about that. This is from Clayton. He says, "Good noon, kids. Justin is out for months. He's not coming back to stop lunch meat." What the fuck? Clayton?
Did you read this beforehand?
No, I never did.
It doesn't sound.
Yeah, but it wouldn't help. Okay, in tradition, Clayton, first of all, sort of is like, you know the opening when you try to play Scrabble and like you shake up all the letters and you dump them out. That's how Clayton tweets. It's
like a word salad.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Justin's hour for months. He's not coming back just to stop lunch meat and Sully is down, comma, it seems, comma, so make it happen. Thank you, Clayton. Suck it, Teresa.
Oh. Okay,
So that's
well
pretty good.
Now I feel okay about Clayton.
So I think Clayton's saying we should bring lunch meat back with me and Sully. And that's probably not going to happen. But it might. I don't know, man.
I could just bring like one of those things of turkey, honey ham.
A honey ham?
You know, like the little thing you get at the store.
Sandwich?
Yeah, sandwich.
Okay.
We'll make it deluxe lunch meat.
I love it.
Ooh, that would be good.
I love it.
I like that name. Well, if you were going to do like a special kind of show.
Yeah.
That's true. Today's guest, I apologize.
Maybe a sandwich puppet.
I haven't even got to today's guest. Kim distracted me. We have Cielo Brewing Company out of Martinez, our old city, our old headquarters. They've come all the way from Martinez, so 15 minutes or whatever. And I'm pretty excited to get them in. They're sort of one of those up and coming breweries you read about. They're already expanding. They were here before the show telling us about how they already have 3 new tanks in, and they've only been open not even 2 years.
Yeah.
So they're really sort of progressing. They're expanding properly. We have a lot of good beer on tap from them. They are in the studio, which I always appreciate. Cielo and Luis are here to talk to us about home brewing and making that transition and all that kind of fun stuff we like to talk about on the Brewing Network. All right, I think that's it. I think we're going to take a break. We've already sort of like over. It's a good thing we're not doing that thing, Bev. And so let us take a break. We're going to come back with the folks from Del Cielo Brewing. It's The Session. Welcome back, Kim. It's
Pleasure
good to
be
have
here.
you. We'll see you in a second. Hang on.
You're tuned into The Session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is The Session. We're here interviewing the folks from Del Cielo Brewing in Martinez, California. Luis and Cielo are in the studio. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, did I not turn you on? Let me push a button. Hold on. Let me try that again, Luis. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good.
There we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. And Cielo, how you doing? You all right?
Doing good.
You
Thanks
good?
for having us.
All right. You guys have been here for a little bit, so you look really relaxed.
Pretty much.
And that's what we want. That's why we told you to get here at 4, and then we give you as much free beer as possible to get you loose up, because we're going to ask for all your passwords for everything, and it's going to be a fun time.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. So you guys are relatively brand new on the beer scene. You're out in Martinez, we had a studio out right off Main Street, or actually right on Main Street for a couple of years. So I apologize, we missed your timeline there. But when did you guys open?
We opened in May 2018. Yes.
Okay. Pretty fresh. So you're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, we're coming in 2 years, and we normally do like a nice. Well, our first anniversary was on May 8th, and we decided to do like 3 days instead of just 1 day.
Sure, why not?
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a long weekend for me. Like on Sunday, I actually didn't want to drink any more beer.
Yeah.
So
it was fun though.
It was a lot of fun. Like we brought a bunch of different musicians, different beers. We did a bunch of different releases. So I think this year we're just gonna do like two days.
You're gonna do 2 days. You're gonna drop it.
Yeah.
You're gonna drop it down. Okay. It's 2 days, but it's 48 hours.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's like nonstop partying. Okay, and it's gonna be the same kind of thing, like a bunch of musicians and big kind of party vibe.
Yeah, we normally bring a lot of like different music. We definitely love reggae. We definitely love like. So I'm from Colombia, so I definitely. My wife is from Puerto Rico, so we love like salsa music, Latin jazz.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Kind of everything like infused with every single like different type of genre.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we're close enough to. Where's a good pocket in the Bay Area for music like Latin jazz? I love Latin jazz every now and then, And like where do you is it Oakland? I would imagine Berkeley.
Yeah,
you get a lot of people going through like Ashkenaz or whatever. Like I'm sure you have a large talent pool to draw from to bring that kind of music out here.
Yeah, there's a couple. I think there's 1 or 2 places in Oakland. I know that there's one big one in San Francisco, which is Cigar Bar. I think that's the name.
Okay.
They play a lot of like Latin music and like open patio, which is a lot of fun too. Yeah.
Nice. That's tight. I like it. And people are responding. I mean, Martinez is a big...
Dude, we love
That?
Martinez. Yeah,
okay.
It's so great. Yeah.
All right. What made you pick Martinez?
That's a good story.
Yeah. So before we decided to go into Martinez, we were looking for different locations around the area. So we live in Walnut Creek.
Okay.
We look at Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill, Concord.
Sure.
We were like super close to getting to Concord, and then we found this place in Martinez just because we were doing so in Martinez, downtown Martinez. They do something that is called the zombie crawl and the Santa crawl.
Yeah.
So we were doing a zombie crawl.
The zombie crawl. Okay. All
So
right.
we do like, and it's kind of nice because like this was on a old McDonald's building, and all those members. So we were pouring beer at the old McDonald's building.
Okay.
And we just were like walking around, and then we saw this place and started talking to different business owners. It's like, hey, we're looking into open a brewery. It's like, oh, you gotta come to Martinez, dude. You gotta come to Martinez.
Sure.
Everybody like super friendly. The guys from the bike shop, the coffee shop, a couple of restaurants. You guys gotta come and check Martinez. So then we kind of started looking for locations in Martinez, and we found this great building, which is like 6,500 square feet. It used to be a commercial laundry in the 1930s. So there's a lot, a lot of nice history behind that. We even have like pictures from the 1930s. I think we still have like a couple hangers from the commercial laundry, which is that's
Cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that the phone number is like 912.
Okay, just 3 numbers.
3 numbers.
Wow.
That's it. Super simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're having some play off of that too, maybe with some of the beers you're making, or
Not quite.
keeping
Not
it
quite
away
yet.
from the history of the building. Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
All right.
But I like the idea.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's
thanks.
free. I get anyone I get my standard fee is 10% of all the profits from the beer. So
I'm always looking for help on beer names. So that's the most difficult part of beer names, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our Twitter game is actually about naming a beer that we're going to do a BN collab at my brewery this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, our beer names are weird. I think it's crazy though that you have a building from the 1930s that basically there was trash there still from the original owner of the building. That's kind of cool. I appreciate that. I was in Isleton. You guys go out to the Delta at all?
No.
A little small town. They had a bunch of Chinese immigrants when they were out there, I think about the same time in the 20s, 30s, building the levees out there. And at one point, there was like 40,000 people in this small town. Now there's like nobody really out there. It's just this little kind of river town. But it was an old like opium den. Anyway, excuse me, I missed a point. There's a bar out there, like Meanwhile or whatever the name of the bar is. But it's actually a really nice craft beer bar. They have like 25 taps out there, and there's a beer release going on for Evil 3, the Heretic triple IPA, which I had none of. But it's still a good time. But the bar is now it was in an old like opium den and whorehouse. And I always thought, like, I would love to just go through some of these old buildings that still haven't been touched since that kind of era, and just pop the floorboards and just see what, like, you know what I mean? I would love,
under there.
Yeah, I would love to, because there's stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not opium, but hopefully opium. That'd be tight, right?
Maybe there's some dead bodies. Like
dead bodies. I'm thinking like knives or playing cards or money, something. Just some sort of like knick-knack. It's like American Pickers, but weirder.
Some kind of leave behind.
Yeah.
Looking for some gold or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even I would be fine with hangers. I don't know. I think that'd be fun.
You know, nice. I redid my house, and we pulled drywall off this one thing, and it had written on a board, Frank owes Joe $25.
Yeah.
And I left it up.
You have to.
All right.
Frank
owes Joe $25.
See, that's
I'm
a beer
waiting for
name.
one of my kids to ask, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So who's Joe?
Yeah,
who's Frank? Who's Joe? Did Frank ever get paid? No.
I don't.
Did Joe ever get paid?
I'm assuming not, because somebody would have, like, crossed that shit out, right?
Yeah, you hope. You hope. How long were you looking for a spot before you settled on the Martinez?
I would say we looked for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to find like the right space for what we wanted to do.
It's a big investment.
Yeah.
It's a big investment. So how long before that did you know you wanted to open a brewery?
Probably like a year before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, like, honestly, that's breakneck speed.
That's fast track,
really
right?
Fast.
Yeah.
You guys must have more focus than I do.
That's what my wife said.
Louise is like, black and white, just go, go, go.
I mean, that's what you
make
need.
it happen.
That's what you need to make stuff happen. Like, you need to have the drive and the get shit done attitude.
Well, I think especially in commercial brewing, if you want to open a brewery, especially even in this market, you have to do it now. If you're waiting 6 months, that market may not be there for you. I feel like it is a lot of timing, more so now than ever, right? Is that fair to say? I mean,
yeah, and I think it's about finding like the right location, trying to figure out who you are, like who you represent, what's the story behind you, like who like what are the customers that you're trying to reach out,
What's the community you want to build as well?
Yeah.
For us, like the brewery is pretty much an extension of our home. So we were looking for a space that not only had the space for the production, but we wanted to feel like a really big living room. Like we want like kids running around. Yeah. We want families there.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. I appreciate that as having a kid, because there's a lot of breweries like, we don't want kids in here. It's fine. But dogs are fine. But kids, no, you can't have kids. It's like, well, then you're alienating a chunk of your potential customer base. I mean, you can't. It's not like free range children. You got to keep track of everybody, but still, well, let kids here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so parents come with kids. Like we have like a big cage where we just give a ticket to the parents. They get a beer. They put the kids on a cage, and
please tell me you do, because I'll be there. I'm going right now.
Actually, I tried to do that, but she didn't agree with me.
No. Well, you know what? Look, McDonald's. Speaking of McDonald's, they do that. They have a play area. They got a ball pit.
Right?
Why can't you do that? I'm waiting for that for a brewery to have that kind of outdoor, basically to take over an old McDonald's.
Yeah.
And leave the play area, leave the ball pit, leave the habit trail hamster thing that they have going on, and then that's it.
I'm thinking like drop off daycare.
Drop-off
This is
daycare,
something we
dude, yeah.
literally explored.
Slash brewery?
No, well, so we have our brewery building, and we have 2 additional spaces that we use for storage, but we don't like use the whole space in one of them. And I was like, what if we had a drop-off daycare? That would be rad. And it could be like an additional business, but then it was like we abandoned the idea. But if you guys want to use that, like, go ahead.
I think it's a lot.
It's like every kid, you just give them some popcorn and choose, I don't know, a bunch of candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, oh,
And then you
I'll check
set
with
up
you
a
like in
track.
8 hours.
Yeah, we're just going to put Frozen on repeat, and it'll be fine.
On one side is Frozen, followed by Frozen 2,
Right.
and then there's like a tricycle race course
Right.
that they can do, and then there's a ball pit, and then a lifeguard is there to like make sure nobody is
I love it
misbehaving
personally.
in the ball pit.
I love it. I would never leave my kid there, but I love it.
I know, and yeah, but then all of a sudden you realize they're actually kids can be cool at a brewery.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
Yeah, just like
Not my
people can be
kids,
cool,
but,
kids can be
you know,
cool.
some kids.
Yeah, my kid will sit there and just stare at everybody.
Well,
You know?
yeah, I bet your kid does well. My kids
Yeah.
think they own the place, and they don't do very well sometimes.
Well, I wonder if it's because they sort of grew up in a brewery, I guess, right?
They
lack
kind
of
of
a
forget
phrase.
that sometimes we have guests, and they can't just run amok.
Right.
So,
Well, how did you guys get involved in commercial brewing? It sounds like maybe you were home brewing beforehand.
Yeah.
Those people? Dozers?
Dozers,
Yeah.
yes. Go Doze. Yeah, so long story short, I'm originally from Colombia, so I moved to the U.S. in 2006.
Okay.
So I moved to Ohio to do my master's.
Ohio?
Yeah, don't ask why.
Oh, why? I can't really, because I really want to.
No. So I moved to Ohio to do my MBA.
Okay.
So my background is in economics and finance, so then I moved to the U.S. to do an MBA.
Okay, perfect.
And then I just stayed in Ohio, worked for a private equity company for like 4 years. 3 years before that, I met Cielo
In Ohio.
in Ohio.
In Ohio.
I
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, who would have thought Ohio?
Dude, so
someone from Colombia and Puerto Rico
Yeah.
meeting in Ohio.
Exactly. That's why we moved to California.
It's a little more diverse than Ohio. Nothing bad about Ohio, but had you been to the States before?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time definitely when I was a kid in Florida,
Okay.
probably go every summer to Disney World.
Disney
and the whole
World?
thing.
Hell yeah, dude. Okay.
But
ever been to Ohio?
No. So
is it a culture shock?
So the story behind Ohio is that my sister, she moved from Colombia to Ohio because she's a physician and she worked for the Cleveland Clinic.
Okay.
Oh.
So then when I finished high school in Colombia, so in Colombia you do 11 years, and then I came as an exchange student to do my 12th year in Oregon.
Okay.
So
got it.
When I went back, I did my master in economics. I did a specialization, like a master in finance, and then I came to the U.S. to do my MBA. And then I was between Oregon and Ohio. I'm like, okay, Oregon, I'm going to have to pay rent. Ohio, my sister will help me with some time, and then until I get a job. So definitely it was kind of stay close to the family, try to figure out what I want to do.
Sure. Well, that's the economics of you.
Right?
Yeah. You are good at economics,
Yes.
then. Yeah. What am I going to do?
So definitely I stay there. Then we met like in 2007.
Okay.
We just met one night. We danced all night.
Nice.
And here we are.
That was it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Classic love story.
Yeah. It's good.
Nice. You came out to California. Were you homebrewing in Ohio?
No. So, so when I moved from Colombia to Ohio, my first beer was a Dogfish 90 Minute.
Okay.
And that was 2006.
That's a hell of a starter beer.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God.
Dogfish 90-minute IPA. Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, dude, I just waste my time drinking crappy beer.
Right.
So from there, every time that we were going to a bar, like we'll get like half pours or every single beer we can find in the menu.
Okay.
And then whenever we go into, let's say that we're going to like Michigan or something close, in Ohio, we'll drive and it's like a 3-hour drive, but it will take us like 3 days because we were stopping at every single brewery on our way there.
Nice. So you were bitten by the beer bug pretty hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. And she loved beer too, so it was kind of great.
Okay. What did you think about the 90-minute?
Love it.
Yeah, you love it too.
Really, from the beginning?
But I've
That's crazy
evolved a
to me.
lot, I would say. Like, before I used to do all the Belgian beers and, like, Saisons.
Okay, so you had
And
sort of a
then-
background on it too. So you're like, that's a 90-minute IPA. Yeah, I know, I get it. But for Luis, it was night and day.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah, because like in Colombia, we have like, I don't know, like Budweiser, Colombian style Budweiser,
Sure.
which is kind of similar, but a little bit more body.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, from Ohio, we were there in Ohio for like 4 or 5 years, almost like 5 years, more like
less.
4. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the weather sucks, man. It's awful. It's awful. So we start looking for like, okay, we have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Cielo got a job in California, and then we'll like start the transition over here. I got a job over here, and then I moved to California too. And once we moved to California, it's like, okay, shit. So this is like the real thing.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like real
Beer-wise.
expensive?
Beer-wise.
No, like beer-wise.
Okay. All right.
But again, like I think it's more expensive, but we're paying for the weather.
Oh,
the
yeah.
beer.
Of course it's more expensive. Yeah, for
so
sure.
when we got here, like the beer scene, it was like totally different than Ohio.
You're right. Okay.
And there's like so many breweries that we went to, so many places that we stopped. And every time that we were going to a friend's house, I will go to like Monument liquor store and just buy like 3 6-packs and just like do like different things
down here in Concord.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah.
Absolutely
and,
great.
And I will come to my friends. It's like, hey, I got these beers. It's like, oh man, you again? I just want to drink beer. It's like, no, let's try this. It's so excited. So it got to a point like my friends like, dude, you gotta start brewing beer.
So your friends were like that. We just want to chill and drink beer, and you're like, no, let's hyper analyze it because I can't get it out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this beer. Like, can we just chug the beer?
Can we just chug the beer, please, Luis?
Yeah. So we got to a point where it's like you gotta brew beer, you gotta home brew. It's like, no. So I'm super OCD. I don't like messy things.
Okay.
Super organized. So it's like.
Cielo's nodding her head. I can see
It's
it
so
out of the corner
funny.
of my eye.
Yeah, because when he said he was going to start brewing, I was like, sure. Like, I think he'll do it for like 1 time or 2, and then he'll be just annoyed by all the mess. So
Yeah.
it won't last. Like, that was my thought.
Okay. Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah. He just was really into cleaning afterwards. Like,
Well,
good.
I mean, that's honestly the best trait for brewers to be like meticulously clean.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time doing that.
Absolutely.
For sure. I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta enjoy cleaning, or else you're just sad most of the time.
That's the reason. That's the main reason I don't homebrew anymore, because I don't enjoy cleaning kegs and stuff like that. I can't stand it. I couldn't stand that before, and which is why my beer always sucked. But I like the recipe formulation side of things. But definitely that helps, and I could see getting sort of into the vibe and the mode of cleaning up after a brew day when you're 3 or 4 years into homebrewing. There's sort of something zen about it.
Yeah, so
calming,
Yeah.
I would say our garage floor was just like beautiful.
Sure. Absolutely.
I don't know. He sounds like the ideal man. Congratulations.
You got
to
any friends? Thanks.
Yeah.
He can brew and clean. Let's do it.
That's right.
That's
right.
You had me at cleaning.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So your friends, it sound like, sort of pushed you into homebrewing.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'm not brewing. That's too complicated. Blah blah. I'm like, so on one of my birthdays, they all got together and gave me a gift certificate from More Beers. Like,
nice.
I'm like, shit. Now I gotta brew.
Now you have to do it.
It's like I want to use those $200. So I went to More Beer.
Yeah.
Right here in Concord. Got the kit. I got like the beginning kit, like the
basic.
I think it was like a 8.5 gallon pot.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember the advanced, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember.
So
it's been a long time.
Yeah. So we got that, and okay, I got the first I didn't do my own recipe. I just got one of the kids that were already done.
Yeah, smart.
I believe actually it was a session IPA.
Okay.
And then we start brewing at home.
Nice. How'd it come out? That's the big question.
It came out pretty good.
You could drink it?
Yeah. We did drink it.
Not me. My first 6 beers, you couldn't drink them.
No.
Terrible.
Really?
Oh my God. They were terrible. Yeah, Ben's first, but I think I helped you with it, so that's why it sucked.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we did that. I think it was like November. What year was that?
I don't remember the year, but it was a really long brew.
So I've been only brewing like 5 years.
Okay.
5 or 6 years.
All right. And you're already almost 2 years into owning a brewery.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. You really do fast track shit. Yeah. I love it.
I get shit done.
Yeah.
No, so the first brew, so this was like November. It was like super cold.
Okay. Your first homebrew?
Yes.
First homebrew.
Okay.
So we live in a multi-level condo and townhome, and we decided to do our first brew on our stove.
Oh, sure.
So
8 gallons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that worked out really
You know
well.
where I'm going, right?
Yeah, well, I used to work customer service at More Beer, so I know I've gotten these phone calls. I don't know why it's not boiling. I don't know. I mean, I could tell you.
Yeah, so it took us like around like an hour and a half to get to boil.
Yeah.
And then once we get to boil, okay, we got to cool down. Oh, we don't have a hose connector in our kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we open the window from the kitchen, throw the hose through the window.
Sure.
And the window had a string, so we have to remove the string, throw the hose, connect it to the
outside.
To the outside, which is like in front of the garage.
Right. You look like crazy people to everyone driving by.
Pretty
I'm
much.
sure. Yeah.
So here I am in the second floor, and Cielo is at the outside in November, like super
Freezing.
cold, and this is like 35 degrees, and it was like already like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And she's like, "How we doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, 190, 189."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So are you running through like a coil to try to cool?
So
the
we have
water?
an immersion chiller.
Oh goodness!
On a 8.5 gallon pot, but we were doing like a 5 gallon batch.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's me, the environmental friendly person trying to collect all the water that we were using. I used every single pot that we had in the kitchen.
How adorable. I mean, I love that. But I guarantee you that was the only time you did that.
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
So, which is funny because then, so to finish the horrible brewing session, the beer ferment pretty well. I always have the fermentation, like a small freezer that I convert into
do a fermentation
chamber
right?
kind of that thing.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, I always have like fermentation control, that's all you need.
That's
pretty
key.
much.
Yeah.
So the beer fermented. Oh, and I wasn't kegging from the beginning. So for the first 6 months, I was bottling.
Okay.
I was doing bottles.
Yeah.
So then we bottled that beer. It was done carbonating and everything. So we tried. It went pretty good. It was pretty decent beer. We finished it.
That's great.
Of course, all your friends like, oh, free beer. Yeah, I'll drink it.
Free beer.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
And they always say
Just keep
it
drinking.
tastes amazing.
You have 20% more friends for sure.
So we kind of went from like brewing like once a month to like brewing once a week.
There you go.
And then I started brewing like two times a week, like 3 times a week. We got to a point where we have more beer that we can drink.
Right. Yes. Okay.
6 tabs all the time.
Really? What were you thinking, Cielo? What were you thinking during this time when he's sort of ramping up his brewing? Are you thinking, does he have a problem? Do I need to step in, or were you very supportive? I imagine of the whole process.
I was super supportive, but I would say it was super random in terms of. Because we had so much beer,
oh my God.
we had to get rid of the beer, right?
I know where she's coming from.
Okay.
I know where she's going.
Okay.
So it started like Luis every single month started scheduling a release party.
Okay.
So we would have friends come over to try the beer, give us feedback, and kind of like get rid of the beer so he could brew more beer.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it started with friends, and then it was like friends of friends, and then it was like random people that he just met in an airplane.
Like house parties going on.
Like literally, the last party we had was December. We had about like 80 people in the house.
Jeez.
We had to open the windows because
And turn
it
on
was
the
so
AC, dude.
hot inside of the house.
In December.
Yes.
Wow. I love it.
So
it was a lot of fun.
I think that's when we were like, you know what? Maybe we just kind of open a spot.
That's when you had the thought.
And
when
people
you had,
pay for
It's
it.
like you guys opened a brewery before you opened a brewery.
Pretty much. Well, I think at
So
that point I was already working on the business plan for the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a seed sort of back then.
Yeah, I got to a point like, okay, I guess, and I joined those, and I was always brewing beers, and then I started like enter competitions as a home brewer, doing like super good as a home brewer. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this as a business.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the last beer release that we did, it was crazy. We have like 80 people of our apartment.
Did you ever get shut down by the cops?
Not really.
Really?
No, we always invite our neighbors.
Yes, that was
Smart.
cool.
That's smart. Yeah. The key to having parties is make friends with your neighbors. Yeah.
So when Cielo was saying that our brewery is an extension of our house, that's what we mean. Like because that's what we meant because it's literally like right now when people go to the brewery, it's like is because it's the first time that you've been there or because you used to be of our beer releases before.
Okay.
So you can see like the growth, you can see how the beer is changing, you can see what we done with all those notes that you give us because one of the requirements like you gotta drink the beer but you gotta write notes.
You're making them work for it.
Yeah.
I
You
love
gotta
it.
do feedback.
Provide feedback.
I love it. How far, and then we're going to drink some of this beer because it's frankly calling my name. How long into the house parties did you sort of have this thought of, hey, maybe I'm going to do this. I'm going to get feedback to make my beer the best it can be for maybe when one day I ever open a brewery. Like, does that make sense? Was that in your brain sort of from the get-go from these parties, or did it sort of evolve from maybe the last 6 months or whatever? You know what I mean? How long were you collecting data from everybody
I think
to use commercially?
For the first like 2 or 3 releases that we didn't do the questionnaire, but after that, like I just need to get some feedback from my friends, and they're probably just gonna give me like a real feedback. It's like, oh, this is like I did like every single style that you can think about it.
Yeah.
Even like styles that I didn't like, I just brew them just to see like what's the difference between the style, what's the difference about the yeast, the hops, the grain bill, everything. So
yeah.
So I think after like I don't know, like 3 or 4 releases, then we have like an
actual sheet,
like an official sheet that you have to like complete comments. And it's funny because we always have like six taps at our house, and you see like people writing on the first one. It's like a bunch of comments. The second one is like, oh, it's kind of average. By the fifth one, is like, he just say like good, bad. I can't think anymore.
Yeah. That sounds like beer judging, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes at beer judging events too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's very smart. You know, even if you were just sort of toying with the idea of opening a place back then, why not get the feedback? Because if anything, it's just going to help you as a home brewer progress. Yeah. But if you can translate that to commercial success, which you clearly have, well, that's all the better.
Yeah.
And so once you opened, all these people that helped you get to where you guys are, it must have been like a second home for them.
Totally.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. You get to share in the success.
Yeah.
Let's drink some beer. Let's stop talking about it for a second. What do we got in our glass here?
So we got on the left one, we got Orale, which is our Mexican lager. Basically, is just this is our beer that we always have on tap. It's probably Cielo Mar's favorite beer.
You always have a Mexican lager on tap? Thank you.
Seriously.
It's one of my favorite styles, and they're so hard to do well.
They're hard to find.
They're hard to find. They're hard to do well.
Yeah. So
this is very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
So just for me and maybe anyone listening, like what makes it a Mexican lager?
So, like our version of our Mexican lager is so obviously we want to use a Mexican lager yeast.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you just doing like a Pilsen style lager or Mexican. So our recipe is like super simple. We do the bill is like almost like 90% like Pilsen. We use obviously some flake corn. For this one, I use some Munich one, just to give like some kind of that bready, kind of support the sweetness. So that sweetness that you're getting, you just getting it from the yeast profile that the Mexican lager yeast provides. So having that Munich, it just kind of balance that.
I think it also enhances the corn. Because I do get some of the corn thing going on, but it sort of transitions directly to the biscuit, that biscuity thing from the Munich, and it works very well together. And it makes it a unique Mexican lager. It gives it a unique sort of aftertaste and flavor. That it's not just one thing or another, right? It's you have that layered combination. Pretty good on that. That's a very good beer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. I'm almost done with my sample. I'm like trying to milk it to
super drinkable. So just brilliantly clear. Yeah.
So you have it on all the time. Is it what, a flagship? I don't even know if you can use the F word anymore in the brewing industry.
It's still
to have
February.
A flagship beer? What does that mean?
Flagship February.
Never heard of it.
The industry tried to make it a thing, and it really.
Is it your most popular beer?
So we have one of the fermenters is dedicated for this beer. So we
one fermenter just for the beer.
Yeah, you just kind of in and out, just like you just pumping orale all the time.
Yeah, if we don't have it at the brewery, at the tap room, people are not happy.
Yeah.
Is it a lager where it's taking like 4 or 6 weeks, or is it a quicker turn?
We do a quick fermentation.
Really? I'm shocked and appalled and sort of turned on by that.
I am intrigued. I'd love to hear more.
It doesn't taste because
no, it doesn't.
My track record for picking out lagers that aren't lagered is pretty good. I'm saying 80-90%.
Right.
I couldn't tell.
So I don't want to tell you how long it takes us to have this beer ready, because then you're gonna kill me.
You're far enough away. I mean, I have a reach, but I couldn't reach you. I think you can get out of the way. What do you? Give us a little tip.
So we normally do this beer like brewed to last like in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. And that level of clarity.
With that turnover,
color me impressed.
How do you? Would you mind explaining your magic? Your Colombian magic.
So we so what we do, like, definitely we do actually we don't even do a 90 boil, so we do a 60-minute boil.
Okay. Well, and there's no DMS from all that Pilsner either. Like, normally that's why you do a 90, right, on something that Pilsen heavy?
Yes and no, because I think a lot of that just comes during the fermentation too, that you can just clear too.
Okay.
So basically what I do is just pitch the yeast as low as you can. It's normally like 55, 56, because we have like, if we do like a 20-barrel batch, then the glycol is going to get warmer and all the things. So we normally pitch like around like 55, 56.
Okay.
Then
high on the lager range. Yeah.
Yeah. So just because we're trying to get the yeast super active, then we kill the glycol for 24 hours on that fermenter. And then once we come back the next day, the yeast like, oh, what's happening here? I'm super happy.
Right.
So what I do is I'll bring it down all the way to 52.
Okay, so you pitch at 55, let's say, let it free rise for 24 hours, and
so
then
when I get back the next day, it's probably like a 59, 60.
Okay, that's a pretty decent. Well, I don't know. Is it? That's pretty good, right? Or is that average?
This doesn't offend my lager brain at all.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's totally.
Yeah, my lizard
totally
brain is
cool.
fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you bring it down to 52 the next day.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll bring it down to 52. Then I'll set up my. Once it hits 52, I hold it at 55 for like 3 days.
Okay.
And then I just do like 1 degree per day. And
Raising it?
Raising it up.
Okay.
Raising it up. Once it gets to like 59, 60, I just like kill the glycol, let it go up, for the yeast to do all the work. Kind of try to clear like any DMS that is on the beer.
You are OCD. I would never do that. That's so many that's very hands on.
So like I brew this beer so much that I don't even get the recipe out anymore. But everything on this beer is just fermentation.
Yeah, right. And
Well,
so
it's
you're
a really cool fermentation profile, honestly.
It really is, and
cool.
I mean, and you're sort of hand making the fermentation profile.
And it's not under
You know what I mean?
pressure, right?
No.
You're
It's totally
you're
free. Yeah,
atmospheric
yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I'm sure we've talked to people that are doing similar things, but to me this is very hands on is the only thing I can think about where it's very like you are influencing the yeast profile.
It's so
deliberately,
deliberate.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
But for multiple days, not just one day or when to kill it or when to pitch or whatever, but for multiple days.
Yeah, I love it.
Just poking. I just like poking buttons. Maybe that's it. Maybe you just like.
So, which is funny because like this beer is more difficult to brew in the winter than in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because in the summer you have the ability to, oh shoot, it went too cold.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up again. But if, for example, if you're like on day 3 or 4, well, more like day 4 and 5, and then the yeast is kind of, oh, I'm already almost done, and then you're like at 56.
I like your yeast
Yeah,
voice,
you're
by the
not
way.
going up.
It's not gonna go up anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like, I have to babysit this beer a lot. So, yeah.
Sounds like it.
But it's good.
It's
Yeah, the
great.
result is awesome.
That's
Love
a
it.
great beer.
Well, and this is a winter time brew that we're having, so obviously this one didn't fail at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we brew this beer like twice a month. Again, like we just keep going, and the yeast is amazing. Like we done like 18 generations on the yeast.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you picked a great appropriate name for it.
Right? Orale!
Orale! Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a very, very good beer. What's our next beer we got?
We got this is our first ghost that we done.
We're excited about it.
And it's called Que Pasó Jose.
Que pasó?
Instead of Que Pasó Jose, it's more like Que Pasó
Gose? Got it. Okay. I love it.
So this is basically our sales guys, Tom and Joel. They're like, make us a goza, make us a goza. Dude's like, it's too cool for a goza. Don't worry about it. Make it, we'll sell it. So then Tom, he normally drinks palomas, which is tequila, grapefruit, and lime.
Okay.
And it
Sounds
literally
pretty good,
and it
honestly.
literally just tastes like this.
Tequila, grapefruit, and lime. So it's like a Greyhound, but with tequila?
I don't know because I haven't had a paloma ever, I think.
Okay. I think a Greyhound is just vodka, and I'm looking at Kim now.
Yes,
and
grapefruit juice.
grapefruit juice, yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we use so we have a puree distributor that he's starting to bring fruits from Colombia. So
Oh, really? Wow.
So this lime is coming from Colombia, and the grapefruit we just got it from Oregon Fruits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lime's from Colombia.
Yeah.
You should say that on the label, that's for sure.
I think we do.
Okay, I mean, a label. It's an Avery label because of the can is just a thing. So I'm like, it's not your label. I understand. The Orale label's great. That's great. And this is just like very much a thing. So it smells amazing.
And you kettle soured this? Or yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
That lime,
I really love
with
it.
that grapefruit, I haven't even tasted yet, and it's one of those beers you just want to smell.
Oh, you haven't tasted?
No, not yet. I'm just going off on the aroma right now.
Yeah, I think it's very balanced. It's not
Yeah.
too tart either.
And you guys added salt to it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Just a very light-handed application of salt. It's
Yeah.
like,
But
it's delicious.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's like greasing a wheel where it just you swallow it and you're like, oh, of course I'm going to drink more of this. You
I
know what I
don't
mean?
think. I don't think you. I don't think
You know what,
Make
Kim?
any sense.
drunk that much grease.
I totally
Why don't
visualized
you
it.
go shuffle papers until you get a paper cut, okay?
Could have just turned off my microphone.
Yeah, well, I could, but I'd rather threaten your life.
I don't know. I don't think he has enough fingers to turn off all the microphones.
I'm going to wave
They're
a stack
telling
of
him
paper
how
at you and
wrong he is.
booga, booga, booga. It's a great analogy because it flows. It's a terrible analogy, but it's one of those beers where you don't have to think twice about having another one.
Yeah.
Not even like, oh, hey, I should have another one. It's like, of course, it's a given thought.
Yes, it's just you're just gonna go back to this, and the
It's smooth.
thing I love about a Goza is just that tiny bit of saltiness. It just makes you thirsty and makes you want to drink more. I mean, this is gonna kill it as soon as it gets slightly warm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Gozas don't have a salt content like this. They're a little sweeter. But this has a salt backbone that really sort of smooths everything out, and it's very, very light with that grapefruit and that lime coming through, and the sour, like you were saying, Cielo, it's perfect. It's not too much of this or too much of that. It's great.
When the fruit tastes so fresh,
Yeah.
too.
Present
I mean, it
and-
tastes awesome.
Have you won any awards for this beer? Because if you haven't, I'm going to riot.
We just brewed it like a week ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Never before.
So
yeah, this is our first Goza.
So hold
Oh,
on to that
Jesus.
Goza, because believe it or
Yeah.
not, I mean, from my experience, a sour beer will hold up for a long time. And you just tuck a sixtel of this Goza away and enter it in a big
Oh,
competition.
really?
Seriously.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be like right now.
I'm
Just hold on to
gonna
it.
have to hide it from our sales guys.
Yes. Just label it as like, oh, whoops, this is a mistake, but please don't dump it.
Clean caustic, hot caustic. Don't use.
Yeah.
Back cake.
Just skull and crossbones and
Yeah.
like your own code. Nobody will know what it is.
No, we're pretty excited about this beer. This was more like with our team, we kind of start like adding fruit. It's like, okay, I think the first time we added one, like 48 pounds of grapefruit, like 44 of lime. It's like, oh, let's add a little bit more lime, mix it up. Oh, I think the salt we got it right for the first time, but then we just keep adding fruit, mix it up, let it cold press a little bit, and it's like, okay, I think we're ready.
So this is post fermentation, but in the fermenter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so you're mixing it up. How do you add the fruit?
How do we add the fruit?
Or have the fruit juice? Like you put it in a keg and shoot it in there with CO2?
We go from our dry hopping port.
Okay.
We put some CO2 into a fermenter.
Okay.
Make sure you got some positive pressure, and then you start throwing the fruit.
Okay.
And then you just mix it up, and then keep tasting it.
Draw a sample and go, okay, it needs a little more of this or a little more of that or whatever.
So that's one of the things, like, I take notes for every little thing. Like,
sure.
I boil for like 45 seconds more. That is going on my notes.
It's going on the notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have been a great home brewer. Because that's the one thing. Well, I used to tell homebrewers all the time: take notes on on what you're doing. You know what I mean? So you can replicate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah.
perfect.
So this is good. Like, we're pretty excited about this beer.
That's phenomenal, and especially with the California spring that we have here in the end of February.
Oh, for sure.
This is gonna.
Yeah, so
we might as well start making more right now.
So we released this over the weekend, and I think we killed like 3 half barrels at the brewery for just one
Easily.
weekend.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Doesn't surprise me at all. This is fantastic.
So I think we're gonna start canning this beer pretty soon. And if you guys get the chance to have this, buy a couple cans.
Yeah.
A bottle of mezcal, and do 2 parts.
yes.
2 parts of beer, 1 part of mezcal.
Can we do that tonight? Do we have enough? I mean, can we make this happen?
I know. This is segment 3. I think.
don't know much about mezcal, but I like it.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, but I don't. My problem with mezcal is I don't know, and it's like Scotch was for me like 15 years ago. I don't know a brand or any sort of. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to learn and drink this beer with it.
Yeah, it's good.
I was in Puerto Vallarta recently, and it was all about the mezcal, man.
Yeah.
I didn't have a ton, but I was like intrigued.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, I love it. You know what else I love, everybody, is Beersmith. You go to beersmith.com, get your 21-day free trial of, hands down, the best brewing software that there is on the market. Brad over there does a great job. I believe Beersmith 3.0 is out and doing very well by all accounts. You can have water profile stuff there now, and all sorts of whatever. You can have your inventory listed in the thing. You can you can go as nuts as you want, or if you just want to use for recipe calculation and storage for your recipes, you can do that too. Brad doesn't care. He just wants you to buy it. And it's 21 days for free, so if you don't like it for whatever reason, maybe you don't have any fingers, you can't type anymore, well, then you can't use it, and that's fine. No harm, no foul. But if you do have fingers, you're going to buy Beersmith. So go to beersmith.com with your fingers and check it out. My analogies are not on point. You were right, Kim.
Yes.
You were right. My analogies are not doing very well today.
I mean, I'm sure everyone has observed this. I'm just the only one calling you out.
No, I believe that everyone's like, wow, Kim's really bitchy tonight. Wow, what is...
She's so right on the money all
no
the time.
Teresa ever.
Why doesn't she go empty out a paper shredder bin or something?
I am Kim's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Oh.
That makes one of us. All right, everybody.
We all need one.
Stay tuned.
Goodness.
We'll be right back.
Hey, motherfuckers, this is Doug from fucking Society. You're listening to the session on the fucking Brewing Network. Fuck you.
Thanks, Dougie. You always know how to bring us in just nicely. Before we get back to the show, everybody, I want to let you know that I keep touching this microphone with my mouth, and I hate it. The 21st Amendment and Pete's Coffee, two iconic Bay Area companies, collaborated on a beer that's called 1966 Coffee IPA, which is named, of course, everybody knows, I mean, come on, after the year Pete's was founded at their original location in Berkeley, California. Rather than the traditional dark beer with coffee, they wanted to have fun with the melding of hops and coffee, paying attention to the coffee varietal and manipulating the roast level to nudge the subtle flavors from the bean for an incredibly unique IPA. 1966 Coffee IPA, handcrafted with Pete's Ethiopian supernatural coffee with lemon and blueberry characteristics, perfectly complementing the tropical and fruity hop flavors and aromas of Amarillo, Citra, and Centennial. This West Coast IPA at 6.8 ABV, 1966 Coffee IPA is the first collaboration beer between the two companies and is available wherever you find 21st Amendment beer. So if they don't carry it, ask for it. And if they don't want you to ask for it, leave. And if they don't let you leave, call the cops. I don't know, man. Whatever. All right, we're back with Cielo Brewing from Martinez, California. We have two new beers in our glasses, which is what Bev gets paid to do. What are we drinking?
We have, right now, we have, on your left, we have Sneaky Slinky.
Sneaky Slinky.
Yes.
Did you name it because you can sort of judge how inebriated people are if they could say Sneaky Slinky or not?
No, we name it like this because we were talking about how to come up with names for a beer.
Right.
So sometimes we get to a point like the beer's done, we got to keg the beer, we don't have a name. And then I remember that we were tasting this beer after kegging it on an afternoon. It's like, okay, we need a name.
Yeah.
So we start pouring beers. Half a pint, another half a pint, third, fourth half a pint. And then it's like, oh, my God. This is like super sneaky.
Okay. Which is only
7%, I think.
Somebody was like, did you say that super slinky? And they were like, sneaky slinky. Sweet.
Sneaky slinky. Yeah, so I think the can...
you got it right there. Okay.
So basically, the can, we have a slinky going down the brew house.
Sure. I love it.
Which it was probably us going down the brew house trying to walk after tasting like 4 half pints of this.
I don't know. I'm envisioning a slinky and how silently they can like make their way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That microphone is sneaky. It kind of like rotates and it's very sensitive. So just helping you out, Teresa. I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they can be sneaky.
Yeah, so something cool that we do with this beer is that we use, so these two beers we use the same yeast. So
okay,
we
so
have,
and the Sneaky Slinky and the other one is Bay Area 51.
Yeah, so we have
a great name.
Sneaky Slinky and then Bay Area 51. We use the same yeast. We take a little bit longer with Sneaky, kind of the same procedures, but we cold crash, biofine. What we wanted to have is like a low bitterness, like cleaner than our hazies, but more like a juicy kind of IPA.
Yeah, because the color is super yellow.
Right.
You know, and which is, I guess, sort of standard, but to me it reminded me more of like the way session IPAs can be sort of lighter in color,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But tasting it's sort of on the in the same vein with like a juicy IPA or one of those like kind of really, I don't know, juicy, I guess.
Like juicy on filter.
I'm always trying to figure out a different name for than juicy because I hate it. I don't know why. It sort of bothers me. Like some people don't like the word moist.
Yeah.
Juicy to me kind of like makes my skin crawl, but there's no other descriptor for it. Especially for something like this. So I would have thought if you served it to me blind that it was one of the hazy beers.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of pillowy and... Yeah.
It's like a clear hazy. Like it's got all these wonderful things, but it also has enough bitterness that it doesn't, like my complaint about hazies is sometimes they're so under bitter that they come off overly sweet.
Okay.
And it's not like that at all.
Yeah.
It's nicely balanced, but super juice bomb, like you said on the can.
Yeah, that's great.
Citrus bomb.
Yeah.
What hops are in here?
Or if you look at the bottom, look at what it says.
What does it say, Teresa? She almost spit beer out.
Sneaky.
I feel like it's gonna be good.
Sneaky AF.
Okay. Yep, that's true. Sneaky as fuck. You can say it as fuck. It actually spells it out.
How cute is she?
I do swear sometimes.
I thought it was just...
Like her kids are listening or something.
No, oh my goodness.
I thought it was literally the letters A and F. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I understand why they did. And then Louis showed it to me. I was like, oh, no, the words are there.
Yeah.
I love that.
It is sneaky as fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
I said it.
There we go. Wow.
Call the cops.
Yeah. Also, you're fired. So
she's gonna go home and repent.
I think I'll probably get more fired if I didn't swear.
Yeah, probably.
With you sailors.
Yeah, so this is one of the beers that we don't have it all the time, but we kind of rotate some of our juicy ones. Same as our hazies. Like we probably have I don't know. So we have 18 beers out of our tap room. Probably 8 of those are IPAs.
Okay.
Between West Coast, juicy, or hazy.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I know it pays the bills, but I mean...
Hey, 8 out of 18 ain't bad.
8 out of 18, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
We got at least 2 lagers. We have a blonde. We have at least 2 stouts.
Okay.
2 sours and a ghost and
Okay.
Yeah, I think they got it going on.
I'm okay. Then I will allow you...
No,
to
actually,
sully your lines with IPA if you have those beers.
Actually, that's one of the reasons I started brewing beer, because I wanted to brew what I like to drink.
Yeah.
What I like to drink are IPAs.
Okay.
And I will never brew a beer that I don't want to drink.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if the beer is gonna sell.
Right. You're drinking it. You're brewing it because you want to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not fan of the style, you're like, nope.
Like, you're
not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like what? What's the style you won't brew?
I don't want to stay on the radio.
No?
Because then one day you'll brew it.
Well,
and somebody will be like, hey, I thought you were going to do this.
Are we recording this?
No.
This has already happened.
Yeah. Look, if Monkish can get away with brewing IPAs now, I feel like you guys can too, because they were very anti-IPA. They had a sign on their brewery that said no IPAs.
Oh.
And now that's all they brew is hazy beer. So
no, I love IPAs.
Yeah.
And I love hazy IPAs.
What don't you like? Let's go that route. Barley
He's
wine.
avoiding the question.
Yeah. He's trying to.
Pumpkin ale.
But I'm such a good investigative journalist.
Pumpkin ale was my never,
like...
ever. And I've done 2 of them. Not me personally.
I will never do a pumpkin ale. Never.
Never say never.
Never.
But it also makes you a good business person, right? Like realizing that even if there's something that you don't like, but if it's like really hot in the market, so it's okay to say like we brew this, even though I don't like this style myself.
So when I go into the tap room, it's like, oh, what should I drink today? I don't want to see a beer that's like, oh, I will never drink that. So one of the styles, like, I will never do a Hefeweizen.
Really?
Oh.
Okay, like a German. I would think that you would experiment with it's like the German side because of the flavors that you're getting out that you can pull out from that Mexican lager or even that Goza. I feel like you would be sort of with your knowledge and the way that you can control fermentation. I think you probably make a killer German Hef.
So we did we do a wheat beer, which we can do it with our hazy yeast. And what we do is we pitch the yeast like super low.
Okay.
And then we let it free rise all the way to like 72.
Okay.
So what the yeast is going to do is just going to create all those phenolics, kind of not Belgian-y, no Hefeweizen, but without the bubble gum or the clove.
Okay.
And then we kind of dry hop it a little bit.
All right.
Everything that Luis makes
Cielo.
has to have some hop forward.
Something in the dry hop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's more like it's not Hefeweizen, but it's more like I call it like California wheat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a little more West Coast, sort of hop forward.
Yeah, but we don't use that much hops. It's
Sure.
only like, I don't know, like...
But there's a hop character.
Just a little bit,
front,
just
a
to
little
kind
bit.
of balance that, the phenolics of the hops, the phenolics of the yeast that some people are looking for.
Yeah. Would you say that those phenolics are sort of in line with Hefeweizens, or it's just something totally different? Because if you're using
it's different.
A hazy
it's different
yeast.
because it just creates like kind of fruity flavors.
Yeah,
fruity
it's
flavors.
like
Okay.
It's like the fruitiness without the clove.
We all that bubble gum bullshit.
If you don't have a clove positive yeast, you're not going to get those flavors.
Yeah.
Right. So not even the banana. It's just it's something totally different.
Yeah, and I did Hefeweizens when I was homebrewing.
Yeah.
Just to enter for competitions.
Sure.
But what I was doing, I was fermenting like super low, which is like 62, just to get to like the 65 or 67 when it's that you start creating all those bubble gum and clove things that I just don't like.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. It sounds like it sounds like this is like the second beer you've mentioned it, but do you free rise a lot on your beers? Is it sort of a tool that you have in your box to just go, I'm just going to free rise?
So we do it with our lagers.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our Mexican amber Mexican lager.
Okay.
Just imagine like a better version of Negra Modelo.
Okay. That's hard, but I can try.
You should.
I love Negra Modelo. It's
dude,
so good.
You gotta try. Like our beer is called Morena Mia.
Okay. What's it called?
Morena Mia.
Morena Mia.
It's like my Burnett, something like that is the translation.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So just imagine like orale but darker, some caramel notes.
Hell yeah.
A little bit of roastiness. It's super good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I'm imagining it. Bev, can you get that beer?
Yeah, so we do that on all our lagers or our pilsens. We kind of do the same fermentation just because, we only have unit tanks. We don't have bright tanks.
All right.
So because we have a tight space, we just go for like unit tanks.
Mm-hmm.
We can do lagers on our unit tanks, and we just do like a quick fermentation and use our best friend, which is Biofine.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How many tanks do you have now?
We have 6 now. We got 3 more.
You have 3 more.
Yeah.
Got triplets.
The you guys had triplets.
Triplets.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. But they're not hooked up yet. I imagine that's going to be cured tomorrow.
Yeah, they're probably going to start like tomorrow or next day.
Okay.
What size is your brew house?
We have oversized 15, so we can do a 22 barrel of orale.
Very
wow.
cool.
Yeah. And
so you open with a 15 barrel brew house.
Yeah, and
then what size fermenters?
30s.
30s.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Wow. That's a good size, right? To start out with.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Did you get any help trying to open as far as like brew house, design or what size you should go? Because I think a lot of people would probably just do 7s or maybe 10 barrel.
Yeah, so initially I wanted to go with 10 and 20s, but then the price difference between 10 to 15, it wasn't. So you get to a point like it's almost like super close.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably gonna like kill yourself for the next 3 months, but then the payback is gonna be faster too.
Right.
More beer that you're gonna have available. I don't think we'll be able to make it with a 10 barrel brew house right now. Like we'll be like struggling for beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. It sounds like it.
Yeah. So we went with 15 barrel brew house and
15 barrel brew house.
630s.
Okay, and 630s, and you've already bought 3. And you're not even 2 years old. You already bought 3 more.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's positive. It's positive growth. Is that part of your business plan? Did you plan for expansion like that? Are you on target? You guys are doing all right?
Yeah. So our plan is to have like 3 more. So that's like 12 fermenters.
Yeah.
Same size. Well, they need to be same size and the same shape, and they have to be electrical, connected the same way.
Okay.
If not, we're just gonna go crazy.
Yes. I was sort of in the middle of that. I was sort of waiting for like there to be like a reason. I'm like, oh no, wait.
They're perfectly aligned.
This is Louise. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like the exact distance between each other is exactly the same.
Yeah.
And yeah. Are you sort of a pain in the ass to work for? Do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cielo, is he a pain in the ass to work for?
Just remember who signed the checks, baby.
I think he just knows what he has a vision, and he just, does what it needs to be done so it becomes a reality.
So do you have brewery
That's
staff?
very nice of you.
Or is it a one-man show right now? What's going on?
So we just hired an assistant brewer like 3 months ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Take a little pressure off of you.
Yeah, but before that, I had another one. This is our second one. But most of the time, I'm the main person at the brew house. Like they do a lot of like CIP the fermenter, keg the beer, but I'm still in control of the beer.
You're right.
I haven't been able to let it go. I guess Teresa is looking at me like, you're crazy motherfucker.
You're totally on my program because it's I think if you're going to open a brewery and you want to really own it, like you kind of need to be in charge of it for a good while. And I honestly didn't really hire somebody until after a year into being at the brewery, and then I didn't really find my right hand guy until it was a couple years in. So that's the way I did it. So I feel like it's the way to go. But it's just, if you're truly going to make it yours, you can't really give up to control to somebody else right away.
Sure.
Because it's your face on the beer, you know?
Everyone knows you. Yeah, absolutely. Did you get any sort of training at another commercial brewery before you opened up?
No.
Get out of here.
I did a couple of programs, brew with a couple of brewery friends.
Okay.
Probably like 6-7 times.
Right.
But then I just jumped in on our brew house, did a couple of water batches, and after that I just like, let's do it. I think we did our first beer was our first beer was our blonde.
Okay.
A blonde ale.
Little blonde ale.
Which we call it coqueta.
Okay. All right.
I think that was the first and last time I needed to do a blonde. And then we just have to keep it on the tap room all the time, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It sounds like everyone in Martinez is sort of on my vibe as far as beer styles go.
Yeah, they're like.
Why am I doing way out in
lagers
Oakley then? Yeah. Blonde ales, I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you just went 6 or 7 pro-ams. I mean, you're on the brew house deck of a couple other breweries, and then now you have your own sort of animal to deal with.
Yeah.
No one's telling you about CIPs or transferring, cleaning fluids from one thing to the other, whatever. It's all stuff you just kind of learned on your own.
Well, like I was saying, I brew with a couple of breweries, and then I have friends in the industry, which they're on my speed dial for the first 2 months.
So you could reach out to some. Okay, but you're sort of. I'm trying to imagine me being in my own brewery for the first day,
trying to figure out,
trying to keep my head from exploding. Like I can't imagine sort of the energy or the drive, I guess is more of a better term, to go ahead and do that with what I would consider minimal experience.
I would add to that Luis is super resourceful.
Yeah.
So like during the time that we were planning to open the brewery, he was like reaching out to every single person that he knew that worked at a brewery and be like, do you need help clean your kegs? Do you need help, like, whatever? And he would just do it to get experience. Like, that's kind of his experience, just, like, helping people.
Just doing the little kind of bits and bobs, as they say.
And I went to New Mexico for, like, 3 or 4 days just to brew with so Paul, he used to work at Black Diamond, like, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then he's the one that trained Justin. And then Paul moved to New Mexico. So he's like, hey, dude, I'm coming to you. It's like, can you just plan like 3 brews on a day? Like 3 batches, like one after another one.
There, yeah.
Monday to Wednesday, and then we just go and have fun Thursday to Sunday, and then I'll fly back to California. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I went over there, brew with him, CIP and everything.
Okay,
like
so you have a little bit of
yeah. I have like a
hands-on experience.
And then like all my friends, like including like Ghost Town, Danville, Shut Up, Altamont.
Yeah, all the most terrible breweries you can ever. Kidding. We just had Shadow Puppet on last week, actually.
Yeah, so we're like super good friends with them, same as Danville. And when I was looking for the brew house, we have the same manufacturer, the Altamont. So I reached out to them. I talked to Steve. When I talked to him, like, hey, what do you like? What you don't like?
Yeah.
So after that, we kind of customized our brew house and our fermenters too.
Okay. I guess it just amazes me that it just sounds like you sort of just went for it, and I just don't have that personality. I would like languish in a brewery for like 5 years and go, maybe I could, I don't know, and then I would work at a used car lot or something like that, right? But you sort of crushing it, and I think what even sort of adds to the mysticism is the beers are phenomenal.
Thank you.
They're very, very good, and you're not even 2 years old yet.
Thank you.
I mean, the brewery, you are.
I'm 27. I wish.
What's the second beer? We have the Bay Area 51.
So Bay Area 51. This is the first time that we canned this. We did 2 batches and it went like super well. So this is pretty much a Comet Galaxy hops.
It smells like a hop bag. Mm-hmm. It smells like pellet hops, which so this is a hazy beer for everybody keeping track at home. Which doesn't smell like a traditional sort of hazy beer, which is like that juicy sort of, fruity thing. It smells like...
Comet and Galaxy.
I mean, it does, but it smells more like pellet, like you've opened a fresh bag of pellet hops.
I get like a lot of lemon or kind of...
It almost tastes like not gummy bears, but those little like sugar-coated...
The lemon heads?
No. I mean, not like totally like lemon heads, but it's so fruity and just candy-like. Oh, my goodness.
Like Jelly Bellies?
No, I'll think of the name of this candy in a second here. Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh. We're going to lose Teresa until we come up with that.
It's so good. I'm kind of on the JP train. I'm not crazy about...
No, not Sour Patch Kids. That's insane. I'm going to turn your microphone on.
It's like gumdrops.
Rude.
You know what? It sort of tastes like the lemon drop. Where you got the lemon, but there's sugary sweetness to sort of balance all that out.
So how are you getting this Galaxy?
Uh-oh.
Did you contract some? Do you have a really good friend in high places?
No, we got some 2018, 2019, and some 2020.
Oh, cool.
Just not that much. Yeah. So we tried to use this more. So this was... So we released this can like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And actually, like, all the labels are... I give the stupid ideas to Silomar, and she makes it to be a smart idea. So all the labels are designed by her.
Really?
Okay, nice. Like graphic design and everything?
You did
all that?
I do all the, like, sketching, art direction, color palette, and then we work with an illustrator in Sacramento.
That's very good.
Oh, very cool.
I think it's really cool. Little, like, spray paint, Berry 51 on it, little alien back there.
so timely with all the Area 51 stuff.
Right.
So did you guys sell out of these cans already?
I think we have a couple at the brewery.
Okay, so after tonight, like probably somebody will show up at 8 in the morning and be like, "Give me all the cans." This is excellent. Honestly, it's so good.
Yeah. So this was the first time that I used. I did like a try with Comet before, and it's like, Comet and Galaxy. What can we make with that? And our sales guy, it's like, yeah, let's call it Bay Area 51. I'm like,
let's do it.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. I mean, as far as the hazy IPA goes, it's not really it's not really my field, but
if you look if you look at our hazies, like they're like clean hazies.
They are. It's not that sort of sometimes chalky thing that you can get with hazies, or like overly smooth and pillowy and soft and whatever. They're still
you can drink it. You don't need a spoon, right?
You don't need a spoon.
Yeah.
It is sort of like a West Coast style hazy beer, where there's some bite to it and there's some snap to it, but you still get the same amount of like juiciness and all that kind of roundness.
So we put some hops on the boil for all our hazies, including Sneaky. We put some hops on the boil. Like we don't throw everything on at the whirlpool.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think for this we do like 25 ounces at 30 minutes. And then we'll take the wort, drop it to like 165, and then add all the hops on the whirlpool. Instead of like doing 212 or 213, we just do it like a 170.
Okay, seems to be working pretty good. Do you do any water treatment?
Awesome. Yeah, we do. We have Martinez water is pretty decent.
Yeah,
but we just said we normally heating this like our like. If we're talking about like pH on beers, like definitely our West Coast are a little bit lower than our hazies. We try to keep our hazies like a 4.3 to 5.5 kind of.
Okay, the pH.
And then our West Coast, they're more like in 5.2s. But then we adjust all the salts and all the stuff. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Super good.
Yeah.
And I was just reading about Comet hops, and it says it brings out a wild American flavor.
Wild American flavor.
I'm very intrigued. I'm going to look into this.
Is that racism?
Wild aroma.
What the fuck is that?
Wild Americans. A zesty grapefruit.
I'm actually offended by that. What is a wild American?
Hey, I didn't write it. I just don't kill the messenger.
Maybe you should have, though. I feel like it would have been better.
Now you're gonna have to try some Comet hops.
I know, and I like how it says a sub is Galena, and we do Galena in some of our hazies just to like throw people off balance.
The summit for Comet is Galena.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay.
I mean, don't believe everything you read,
No.
especially off your phone. And doing something else,
Wikipedia.
Yeah, you know what? What I like about this hazy is that again, it smells like a pellet. It doesn't have the aroma of like a traditional hazy beer, right? When you think about the hazies,
like the yeast.
It's what I'm getting from all your beers is they're different and they're noticeable, and you're sort of separating yourself from the market and making good beer, but beer that you can differentiate from another brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a compliment, and I don't know if it came across.
Well, it's like,
because like that Mexican lager, the aroma of this beer, like I could probably pick this beer out in a lineup of hazy beers because it doesn't have just what you would think of as a hazy beer. You're pushing the boundaries. You're creating your own, sort of putting your own spin on it.
Yeah,
and I think that's cool, and I appreciate that.
And what I think like a lot of breweries they do is like they ferment hazy beers a little bit higher than our IPAs.
Okay.
Just because they're looking for that fruity flavors.
Sure.
From the yeast, so they don't have to like use that much hops on dry hopping.
I see. So
what I mean?
They're using the yeast profile to sort of make up.
Yeah.
I mean, it accentuates the hops, but maybe they don't have to add as much because they're getting some of that character from the yeast. Okay. And yours aren't that yeast driven?
Yeah, and that's why when you see our hazies, like sometimes like you can see like almost not your finger, but
Mm-hmm.
they're like clean hazies, you know.
Yeah. There's they're not murky gravy beers. They're
Yeah.
I guess what you would consider a traditional hazy in the 2 years ago. When I would think of the
Right.
word hazy, this would be it. Not anymore.
And sometimes, you know, when you have those beers that are right in the middle of what they're supposed to be, quote
Yeah.
unquote,
Yeah.
I think they lack balance. But yours are super balanced, and I feel like that's way more important. Like to have good, clean beer, balanced beer that you actually want to drink. Like a lot of hazy beers, I can't really drink a pint of, but you could just you could try.
You could do it.
No problem.
I love it.
Love that.
Do you guys have a tap room? I imagine you do.
We do.
Yeah.
So our tap room is in downtown Martinez. We have like 3,000 square feet for the tap room.
For the tap room. Damn.
Oh.
Yeah, actually, we just
have
had
a nice size space.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's
pretty
I love
We just
it.
have our first Sunday bingo.
Sunday
It was
bingo.
so much fun. I freaking love bingo. This is my new thing. I'm really into bingo.
If you guys like bingo, so I just did the first bingo yesterday.
Okay.
And it was like, we did like, oh yeah, let's do like 40 cards. Yeah, we should be like, we're probably gonna use like 20.
You're right.
We ran out of cards.
Really?
Wow.
People
we ran
love
out
their
of cards.
bingo.
We ran out of
Their
markers.
bingo.
And then I'm like, I'm just gonna do it myself to see how it goes. It was so much fun, dude.
Really? You were calling the numbers?
Yeah.
Were you doing like B42? Good to see you. B42, like that sort of.
No, but I'm gonna invite you next time so you can do it.
Please do. I will give you a low rate. I mean, I'm not that expensive. And
Three
I will-
$3.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good. Even two. I would have gone 2.5. See.
Oh man.
The art of the deal. That's me.
That's why you don't make the first move in a negotiation.
Negotiation master. That's me.
You're like, all right.
Now I get a free half beer, and I appreciate that.
Sweet.
What else do you do? You did the bingo. Do you do anything else fun over the brew?
We
do Connect Four.
We do Connect Four tournaments.
Shut up. You do Connect Four tournaments?
Tournaments
See,
on,
now
on
that's what I'm
Wednesdays.
talking about. On Wednesdays, okay.
Yeah, and then we do trivia on Tuesdays.
Beer pong tournaments every month.
So beer pong is a different level.
You
so
do beer pong tournaments.
So we take beer pong tournament really serious at El Cielo.
That's our thing.
You guys are kind of crazy, and I love it.
But we do beer pong with no beer on the cups.
Okay.
Because legally we cannot do it.
I was gonna. Okay,
It's more about having the precision, having the skill.
It's the art.
It's more
Right,
about,
okay,
it's
then the
more
finish
about
off.
me winning every Saturday.
Are you the beer pong guy? Are you beer pong dude? No.
Well,
He's competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. I would never have gotten that from him.
I have to share a funny beer pong related story. So before we opened the brewery, my partners and my husband went to CBC, and there was a beer pong competition with Zepp, which is they're a chemical supplier, right? And so my husband went and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to kill this beer pong," and he won the beer pong competition. So we got like $500 of free chemicals from Zepp.
Nice.
And it seriously carried us through like the first 6 months of the brewery.
I love it.
We had giant buckets of chemicals in our garage. I was like,
oh my God.
I'm not sure we should have this here. Okay.
Super safe. Don't worry about it.
So I think once I tell them there's going to be beer pong, like we will be there.
It should come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do beer pong tournament once a month. And then for this year, like we're going to have, so every month we're going to have a winner. And then at the end of the year, we're going to have like the big championship.
Championship. Wow.
And then,
okay.
So we have like custom made those Cielo beer pong tables.
God.
With beer pong DCV bowls.
Okay.
Wow, that is serious.
Yeah.
So then the winner of 2020 is going to take a custom Del Cielo beer pong table to her house.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how serious we take beer pong.
I love it.
So we always
That's cool.
We always have a beer pong right there on the production area, and that's kind of what I do during the boil.
Yeah. You just practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the ringer. So the house, it's like
But
you're
I'm
a
not that
casino. House
good.
always wins.
I just get distracted pretty easy.
Okay.
I play super good on the first and the second beer.
Right.
After that, you just...
So if you don't have beer on the table, how do you do it?
You always have to have beer in hand.
So that's rule number one. You have to have a beer in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then so if you, and I've never played beer pong, so I don't know how it goes, but if you sink it, then the other person has to drink. Do they just take a sip of their beer?
No, it's more like you move the cup out of there, but you're constantly drinking pretty much.
Okay, so it's sort of like the beer is secondary, which I feel like would be worse because it sneaks up on you.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have that sneaky slinky in your
right?
hand.
Or if you're
sneaky.
Yeah, or if you're sinking balls, and then you're taking a drink, and normally in the game you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. True.
So this is probably something like super secret, but we're coming out with a beer pong beer pretty soon.
Okay, don't say anything else.
A beer pong? No, you can't stop there.
That's it.
What's a beer pong beer?
It's coming pretty soon.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, at least when? How soon is soon?
Like in 3 or 4 weeks.
We're working on the label as we speak.
We're working on the label.
Okay.
So that's her job. So I just need to make the beer.
You just need to make the beer. All right.
The label's looking good.
Whenever she said the labels are good, then I can brew it.
Okay, that's how you work. The labels first.
Yeah.
A beer pong beer. Okay, I'm interested. Now you got me. Now I'm hooked. Anything else? Any fun events? Any other fun events you do at the brewery?
What else?
So you got the party coming up in May, I think you said, right?
Yeah, we have our second anniversary in May.
You have a date for that?
May 8 and 9.
May 8 and 9. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have
Is it ticketed? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, we keep it open. So we normally move everything from the production back to between the fermenters.
Yep.
Like all the cakes, so we clear out that area. Then we bring the music over there.
So we can just come and hang out. We don't have to pay for anything.
It's totally
obviously
open.
buy beers.
Yeah, we open at 11, close at 10.
Okay.
Music all the time.
I love it.
We have some specialty releases for May. We probably come out with a couple new beers. Maybe a new Goza, I don't know.
Okay.
And then we have the Martinez Beer Fest on April 18, right? Yeah. April 18, which is, I think it's like always like 2 weeks after the Spring Brews.
Spring Brews, right. Yeah. Okay. Well, definitely check it out, you guys. If you're ever in Martinez, go to the tap room, drink some Orale for your boy Jason, because I love that stuff. It's very good. Del Cielo Brewing, you can go to delcielobrewing.com. Luis, Cielo, thank you very much.
Thanks for having
for joining us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
it. Was fun.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap up the Twitter game and, I don't know, shoot the shit, I guess. Right, Bev? All right. No more beer, right? That's it? Damn. All right. All right, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
We haven't had this much fun since Doc fell off a stripper pole.
The Brewing Network.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Kim Shimke's still here.
Still alive.
Still alive.
Made it to the end of the show.
She doesn't
Still
even
here.
look pale. She's rolling with the punches.
So what does happen if you cut yourself? How do you stop it?
Well, it depends on how you cut yourself and with what.
Okay, Jesus. Nothing's simple for you with you anymore.
That's what the doctors tell me.
Really? It's like if you cut yourself like cutting vegetables.
Yeah, they
on your
actually say
finger.
like you have to be really careful cutting.
Yeah.
Like if you're cooking and.
Do you have one of those like chainmail gloves that they wear, like chefs
No, but that's
wear?
actually not a bad idea, honestly. So they say what you should do
Honestly,
is
you're
put
right.
pressure on whatever cut for 20 minutes, and if it doesn't stop after 20 minutes, you have to go to the ER. So that's the window of time of putting pressure and how much, and then after that, if
dude.
it's still a thing.
Do you have a whole kit? Do you have like a tourniquet or a bottle of super glue or something like that?
You know, I feel like if I can't make it to the ER in a certain amount of time, that's the universe's way of saying you just shouldn't be here anymore, and just like let it happen.
The universe has been screaming that at you for the last 4 months.
Well, there's
Well, how
something
do you-
else then that was like, not now.
Okay.
Ain't her time.
I don't think it was her time.
Well-
I really think I don't think it's allowed to be her time.
If you're looking for a time to set your pale ale malts and IPAs apart from the rest, try the Extra Pale, which is a modern two-row base malt from More Beer. It's designed for very light-colored beers, germinated like a pale malt to have a high degree of modification for easy brewhouse conversion, but then it's uniquely kilned like a Pilsner malt to have a very light color. The result is a malt that easily and quickly converts like a true pale ale malt, but is as light or lighter than most Pilsner malts. Also, be sure to check out More Beer's Comos lines of commercial-grade draft boxes. Stainless steel coils chill your beer to perfection, while the rest of the 100% stainless steel components deliver that beer to the glass in style. Check them out at morebeer.com.
Your segues are as bad as your analogies, just so you know.
First of all, how dare you? That segue was amazing.
Was it?
And really...
By whose standards?
Look, considering I only can do what I'm given, right? Like, you didn't give me anything to really work with.
I gave you my life to work with.
Exactly. You didn't give me anything worth a damn. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm just mad because you weren't invited to my funeral.
I feel like
we were not invited to your hospital either. Like, nobody was like, please come.
Well, again, even people that, like, no one came. It was just not a thing. It was not a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you sad about that?
Are you more of a jerk to like be rooting for Kim from home, or to just not like make the journey to the hospital? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kim, are you honestly like disappointed?
No, you know what? No, that is not a thing for me. But I will say that one of these, like, you know, there's people in your life where you're like, oh, well, we're not like the best of friends, but that's definitely like a friend of mine, or that's my family member.
Like
and so
you
you're
and
like,
me.
No. But you were like, you know, you'd be like, well, if it came down to life and death situation, they would be there for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's not always true. And now I know, like, people that you think would, like, really be there.
Yeah.
And it's now been, like, almost 2 months and you haven't heard from them. You're like, okay, well, screw you.
Really?
And that's the hurtful one.
Like
and then
who?
you get people
Like your ex-boyfriend?
moving for.
Oh, okay.
And then there's people that you were like, that treated you like shit for years, that heard about this in the ether somewhere.
Yeah.
And then comes out and they're like, oh my God, I hope you're okay. I'm like, fuck you. You didn't care about me when I was healthy.
Like me.
Well, see, yeah, you fall into that category.
I was going to actually just point out that he referred to himself as your friend.
No, yeah, well, we're friends. We're not, no, wait, what is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
I got you.
Yes.
That sucks.
Nice catch, Bev.
That sucks.
Yeah, I got this.
Well, I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's okay because I've grown closer to you as a person because in the future...
You want me to put in a good word for you with the big man upstairs.
The big man upstairs. The landlord's office is right above us. I'm trying to expand.
my gosh.
No, I feel like our timeline of being friends is going to be cut short because you're going to cut yourself or something like that. So I might as well let you enjoy and feel what it's like to be friends with me now.
Oh my God!
You're providing me that.
Yeah. I'm like the
it's-
Grinch with my friendship, but my heart grew 2 sizes.
No, my heart grew 2 sizes.
No, but mine did also, but I didn't have a whippy thing to
Literally.
reduce it. Yeah.
That was for the clots, not for the heart.
Oh.
The body did the job on the heart.
I was playing Words with Friends. I wasn't really
Yeah, I
listening to
believe
your
that.
whole thing,
Yeah.
but
now I'm one of your friends.
shit.
It's out there in the universe. You put it out
we're
there.
buddies. I think we're supposed to be buddies, not friends.
But you just were elevated now.
Oh man, now I have to tell
You said
Warren. God damn it! And I gotta call
Warren
Warren and
sent
tell
me a
him.
care package.
He did.
He did.
Of what?
A shirt that said "Sluts Heal Faster."
He texted me and asked me what size your shirt was.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, and he
Wow.
sent me like
How did he get
4
your
beers.
address? Okay.
He texted my mom.
Okay. Yeah. For a while.
Which I would believe Justin texting my mom, but like when Warren, I was like, well, that's the price.
We were always we were texting you, but your mom was answering your phone, which I thought was pretty brave of her, and maybe I thought that's why you died, is because you knew that your mom was in your phone.
Oh,
'Cause
I gave her access on Friday night when I knew things were bad. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, what do I need to leave before my mom gets past?
So you did kind of delete your browser history as like a analogy, right? Like you went through and
Oh God, you know, I
some
didn't think of
weird
that. And Google was
text.
up. That would have been weird.
Yeah.
I think I did do.
Like cleaning up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
See-
because I knew things were bad on Friday night, and so I'm
Sure.
like, my mom should probably have this, which I'm glad she did. But
Yeah.
you don't just give your mom your phone, which now I have to share locations with her, which that would be something I would never have done that before.
Why?
Yeah, well, she's looking out for her, man. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody's gotta be checking on this, and you can depend on mom.
I essentially have a life alert now, so if I fall, it calls 911 in my emergency contacts. Yeah.
Is it it looks like an iPhone watch or whatever.
So the newer iWatches have a fall function on it. So it detects when you fall, and then you have 30 seconds to respond to it. So if it's an accident, you can turn it off. But if not, it then within 30 seconds will call 2 of your emergency contacts with my parents and 911.
Wow.
That's so.
We actually looked into Life Alert for me, but Life Alert is like a total ripoff, first of all. Like, it's meant for, like, old people to save their lives. Yes, it's so expensive, and it's, like, a certain startup cost, and it's, like, $40 a month just to, like, have the thing going in existence.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this does so much more. It doesn't look very obvious.
I would love that. We should write a commercial. Help, I'm shitting, and I passed out or something like that. Help, my bowels are full, and
I'm giving him the ultimate and judgy looks right now.
Yeah, you've beat this dead horse.
Yeah, I know.
You need to stop.
First of all,
It's subterranean. This horse is subterranean. It's been beaten.
I have breaking news, everybody. This important PSA is brought to you by Manscaped.com. This is your
for the Segway win.
This is your pubic service announcement, everybody. I'm reading the copy. Don't get mad at me. After more than 18 months of research and development, the Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. And you know what? If you have a condition like Kim's, no nicks. You won't have to nick yourself because the ball sack, as we've all talked about ad nauseum,
So if you're on blood
bleeds a lot.
thinners,
If you're on blood thinners,
this is the product for you.
it really is,
It's a whole
honestly.
new ankle, really.
Yeah, I'm not on blood. My blood is as thick as jelly brains, and it flows when you nick it. This new trimmer was just released only moments ago, and we're the first to confirm the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 manscaping trimmer is now available for purchase. This third-generation Manscaped trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. And we've been talking about Manscaped for a long time now. We love that thing. It's very, very cool. If you use the Lawnmower 2.0, well, the 3.0 is super easy to transition to because it's the same replacement blade. So if you have the replacement blades and all that kind of stuff, which if you own cutters and things like that, I didn't know this with I had hair clippers for like 10 years. I didn't know you're supposed to replace those. I had no idea.
It was like a single-use thing.
Yeah,
you just use it till it stops
use it
vibrating.
Yeah, because I assumed like the motor would die before the blade because like it's your hair. How's it go? That's thin. What's it going to do? But apparently, you need it. So that's
Once
good
in a
that
while,
it's
yeah.
the same replacement blade, so you don't have to worry about it. With a new and improved skin-safe technology. And when we say premium, it's really, really premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can go longer between charges. You can have a longer shave. You can take your time and make sure everything is shorn properly. Plus, one of the coolest new features is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trim, which is pretty cool. I do like that.
I'm just imagining some dude in his shower in the dark.
Well, in my house, we have a mirror, and it's like directly across from the shower. So I would much prefer to shower in the dark because every once in a while you get that side glimpse and.
You're like, whoa, what's,
well then I get
who's that guy?
I see my body and I get too horny for myself, and so they've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with here's a good segue, with quiet stroke technology. And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a rapid charging dock powered by USB. So if you're listening to me talk right now, you're one of the first people to hear about this life-changing product, and I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself because I care about you. Nobody else will care about you like JP cares about you. Trim the junk of yours. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code BNARMY, I believe it is, right, Beverly? At manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. That's 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Check it out, code BNARMY. All right. I love it. I love you. Bev, let's do the Twitter game, huh? Why did I just re-downloaded that, but who cares? You want to do the Twitter game, Bev?
Yes.
All right. Twitter game today was brought to you by, I believe, Beer Law Center. John of the Beer Law Center loves the Twitter game. I get texts from him every day. Is it Monday yet? Because I want to hear the Twitter game again. I say, no, John, it's not Monday. It's actually Thursday.
I just didn't think that's who I... Never mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, go for it, please. Please end my pain.
So, the Brewing Network. We're brewing some kind of lager deal up at Crooked Lane Brewing this week. Name it for us. Excuse me.
Every show, like when we do like Ears Up.
I have to clear my throat, I know.
I was editing the last Ears Up show at earsuppodcast.com, everybody. And it's just 100...
Sorry.
And it's just funny.
I have to clear my throat a lot.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Should you get it looked at? Do you have like a nodule or some sort of like inflammation?
Probably.
Yeah, because I do it with like a nervous tick, so maybe that's all I'm saying.
It's not a blood clot sign. Don't worry.
Good. Phew.
I've learned things.
All right.
TN Brewing says the long goodbye lager in memorandum of Justin's time at the Brewing Network.
Yeah.
Long goodbye.
The long goodbye.
Brian King says lunch meat lager, dry hopped with a whole bunch of grab ass.
That is true, man. I remember the grab ass days. That was fun because we would do it on a Friday at noon. And
you recorded the show Friday at noon?
Yeah, and so I would drive from Moorbeer, drive to Pacheco, and I don't know, like Fridays at noon. Fridays kind of a dick-off day at work anyways. That was a good time. Lunch meat was pretty fun for a couple years, and then Justin didn't want to do it anymore, and I was like, maybe it's time. maybe it's just done. Anyway, whole lot of grab ass. I love it.
Yes. Brian says low hug lager.
Low hug lager.
Low
Damn.
hug. That's solid.
What's good about that also is that the low hugs are also long, like a fermentation.
And awkward.
Yeah. Speaking of low hugs, I saw Tasty on Saturday.
That was actually a really good transition.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. He's doing really
Tasty
good.
update.
He looks great. Awesome. I mean, he's very private about his medical problems, unlike some people in the room who just go on and on about it. But yeah, I mean, he was out and about and having beers, and it was a good time. I saw Jamil also. That was fun. That was a good time.
You didn't tell me I looked great.
What else do we have?
Oh my gosh, you're the worst. Last one is from...
I didn't tell them they looked great either. So
so I just have to not be around.
Yeah.
Be like, I saw Kim.
She looked great.
I saw Kim.
Yeah.
She's back.
Yeah. Feel sorry for me. I saw Kim.
Stop it. Kim's your friend now. You can't say things like
That's
that.
true. That's true. I'm going to get us those heart necklaces that are like in half.
Best friends?
One side
Yeah.
says best and the other friends.
Cool. I need something new to put up my ass. Go ahead, please.
Oh my gosh. Brewjob says another dumb BN game Vienna lager.
Yeah. I like it.
He's not on board today.
Well, that's the hashtag we use for the game every time. Another dumb BM
another
game.
dumb BM game.
Yeah. Well, the BM game is Kim. Never mind.
Not the BM game.
Well, what do you think, Bev? Should we put it to votes, or do you have a favorite already?
My favorite was the long goodbye lager. I thought that was funny.
Are you guys on board with that, or what do you think, Teresa?
No, I'm definitely in the low hug category.
No, low hug was good too. Yeah,
that is pretty good, Kim.
Yeah, low hug.
Okay, low hug lager, everybody.
I'm
There we go.
not super stoked on any of that.
Well,
yeah, same.
Yeah, and that's fine. I should put the caveat that we're not really going to use the names. This is just a joke.
Yeah, you should point out that we will not be using any of these names.
So if we,
You won the game, but...
We won the game, but we probably aren't going to name it Low Hug Lager.
You won the game, email me. I'll eventually send you a t-shirt.
We have like in-house names versus out-of-house names.
Sure.
Like the beer we did with Warren. Oh, man. This had a really good name. It was called Easy Kumquat Easy Goza because it was a kumquat goza.
Yeah.
But in-house, after somebody made a bit of a misnomer while ordering it, it became the cum shot goza.
Oh, right. And you're like,
because that's literally what somebody ordered one time. And we all died laughing.
That's amazing.
For 20 minutes, and then it was the cum shot goes in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the gas station come and go. So you know what? People just throw around these words anymore.
They do.
I feel like I would.
Very commonplace.
I would love to read the Untapped review for what someone thought was a cum shot goza.
Yeah, I mean,
One star,
honestly,
not my favorite.
Honestly,
Fluid.
like a little salty. It's kind of the right.
That should
that's had
be. We
to be
should
done,
do that
right?
as like a segment one time. Is like try and find the most ridiculous beer names and then see like Untapped reviews on that if people like think it's a certain thing or just
like
like the most
misunderstood
ridiculous
beer names. Yeah, Beer Advocate apparently just was bought by Untapped.
That's right. Yeah, I saw
Like
that
today or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which always it shocks me how many people can make money off of other people drinking beer. It makes no sense. But here are these two companies that are now buying one another, or however it's working. It's like it's crazy to me.
I just, once you start reading Untapped reviews, like you can just get sucked into that forever. Especially for my beer. I'm like, I love to read, and it just gets. Sometimes you'll just get some real gems in there.
But do you ever get anything worthwhile or actionable, I guess, from it? Do you ever learn anything about your beers? Like maybe we should make this adjustment. Something you didn't already know or that you couldn't have already gotten from like your locals that you would trust their opinion and you can actually talk to.
I'm
trying to lead the conversation.
No, I mean, and honestly, I don't really use it in that way. It seems like the most of the feedback is more like, what do I like versus what is this supposed to be?
Yeah.
But sometimes when somebody finds something they don't like, they have the funniest thing to say about it, which is
that is
pretty
true.
fun. But honestly, it's kind of stressful too. So it's kind of like
I can imagine.
I don't know. It's like holding a mirror close enough you can see your pores. Do you really want to look at it this closely?
That's
Maybe
true.
Not.
Yeah.
I used to read those for a brewery that I worked for. I did like PR stuff for them, and so I would manage their Yelp and their Untapped. And Untapped was so annoying because people would be like 2 stars, but with no description whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's like that's not helpful.
No.
That's absolutely. And those, if people didn't like something but they said why, I mean, a lot of times they didn't describe it very well, but at least they're trying. I think it's like 2 stars, 3 stars, but without any sort of commentary whatsoever. And those ones would annoy the hell out of me.
I have to check my Untapped. Well, anyway. All right, I think we're done. I think we're getting out of here.
Sign points to finished.
Right. Thanks to Del Cielo Brewing. You can go to delciellobrewing.com. Check them out. Come to Martinez, drink the beer.
Play bingo.
Play bingo. Play beer pong. I don't know. I thought that was a trip.
Come sing karaoke at Crooked Lane.
Come see karaoke at Crooked Lane. When is that? Is that every weekend?
This Saturday.
Yeah.
And meet the BN crew.
That's true. I will be there. Bev will be there. Kim will be there. And I think that's it.
Justin?
Oh, yeah, Justin. I forgot about that.
Byron?
Yeah, Byron from Sierra Nevada is going to be there, too. That'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and when